You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
No.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, gross atomic waste. From deep within the core, gross atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 505th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, I've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And also Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
Tonight, we will go over our gameplay off the top of the show as per usual. Then we've got some feedback from Mr. Stratoblaster. We've got some Roundtable quests that we will be getting into for our Roundtable stuff. I believe we are wrapping up the Skyline Valley portion of our Roundtable Season 16, which will conclude Season 16, I believe. So we are drawing our adventure to a close. But let's check in with our last couple of quests here. Got some iguana bits on our way out the door as well. So let's go ahead and roll right in. Say, hey, Jess, did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I sure did. Yeah, I even played some Fallout this week. It was a Fallout
Nuh-uh.
76 kind of week.
You? London?
No. I even had time off. But so it's always the best laid plans, right? When it comes to how much we want to play each week and how much we do play each week. Whenever a new game comes out and I'm really into it, I manage to find, at least 30 hours to game in a week. But then it slows down a little. So I actually played a lot of 76, got in there over the weekend, did some events, did my weeklies and dailies, doing both sets of weeklies because I did them on the weekend and I did them again on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm up to level, I think, 52 now on the season. So I got probably 20 levels in the last week because 2 weeks worth of dailies plus some other stuff and just playing the game, grinding XP.
Are you Mothmanning a lot?
I Mothman. I think I did 3. I think I did 3 festivals.
I think that's how many I did too.
Yeah, and that's just
so.
since Tuesday. Got some of that in. But I had messaged you all in our podcast chat about one of them. So when I was doing my weeklies, I re-rolled a couple. Because there are times you don't want to kill 10 Snallies. I mean, it's not that hard. You go to the old, what is it? Is it the abandoned train station? The sunken train station area?
Yeah, what is that called?
Right
The
above.
abandoned rail yard? No.
I think that sounds better. I feel like there's something involving water in it, like sunken or moist. I don't know. Anyway, flooded train yard. Good call.
Flooded moist yard, I think it's called.
Ew. But, you can usually find Snallies there. And of course, there's always the 3 over at the big old meet and go, Toxic Larry's meet and go.
Yeah, when it's a daily, that's where I always go. And then you always go and you see 3 dead Snally guys just sitting there and you're like, oh.
They usually respawn, but yeah. I re-rolled a few to try to get some epics. Because that's also the secret. You got to pop a booster for the changeover if you can, and go for the epics on the re-rolls if you can. So I got a couple epics, but one of them was do 3 events in the mire. There aren't that many naturally occurring events in the mire, You can do a daily up there if you want, but...
Yeah, that's when I do dolly sods 3 times, hopping servers, right?
Well, and that's kind of what I ended up deciding to do because, you've got Moonshine Jamboree. What other naturally occurring event is there in the mire?
Oh, what's the defend the honeybee one? The honey beasts are attacking something. You have to kill honey beasts. I don't remember. That's out in the mire because it's always so goddamn dark. I thought all the events in the mire, and he's like, you can't see anything, it's so dark. I always have to have my Pip-Boy light on and stuff. I thought it was dark until we got to our current situation down in Skyline Valley. Good fucking Lord, can't see anything.
Right.
Irrational Fear. That's one that can
Irrational
pop up
Fear. There you go. Yeah.
Couple others, but I said, easiest way to do this, get the epic done, just take all the workshops. Because you've got Dolly Sods.
Yes. What's that farmhouse one down south?
Is it Dalton Farms?
No, Dalton's that's
That's for
over.
Harbor.
That's for Harbor.
Oh gosh, I'm blanking on names today. But yeah, I think it starts with a D anyway. But grab that one. You got the power plant up there. And Berkeley. Berkeley's in the mire.
Oh, right.
I did those, and they were pretty simple. Although I got fog crawlers at Dolly Sods, which I thought was interesting. Like just one wave, but all fog crawlers was a little tougher than
Really?
usual there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
funky.
not usually not fog crawlers. Those are the
How-
down south ones, yeah.
However, the last one was obnoxious. So first off, when you get there, you get the Power Up Poseidon or Power Up Thunder Mountain event. And I'm not going to do Power Up Thunder Mountain by myself. I mean, obviously I can, but that's like an hour versus a defend event. So I took over the workshop. I got 4 waves of cave crickets.
Oh, fuck me.
That's not an event. That's a punishment. Like,
Yeah.
Just turn it off. Go home.
yeah. I mean, they're biting at your heels. You can't target them. They're hiding. The game's so mad that it does it. They don't even, you know how like it shows you wave and then it tells you what you're fighting? Cave crickets won't even show on the list. They added them after. The game's so mad about it that it won't even put them on the list. It's just like wave blank 1 of 4, wave blank 2 of 4. I had some cave crickets spawn on the other side of the power plant. I'm like, why is my objective marker? This is in like the second wave. Why is the objective marker on the door of the power plant? I loaded in. I went all the way through the power plant, killing stuff on the way, went out the other side, and there it was. Stuck. Stuck under a stairway railing on
So-
the far side.
The mapping took you through the building when you should have just ran around the outside.
I mean, it was probably, yeah. I kind of knew that at the time. Like, there's no way they would spot it in an interior. But that's where the marker was. So, yeah, I just went through the building. That was fun. But cave crickets, I would rather just skip it.
Cricket? Just skip it.
Exactly. Fun events. Did all my weeklies, my dailies, combination of regular. I jump onto custom for the crafting usually just because crafting is free over there, which is always nice to do on custom. Place 30 crops. Don't mind if I do. Really easy. And then you've got to just harvest them. But that was my 76 this week. I played Saturday, Sunday. I played like Tuesday, Wednesday. Got a lot of that in. Did some Mothman stuff, of course, for the event. Nothing really new there. It's running fine. I feel like it's been a little bit easier, the couple I did. Has this been your experience? I don't know if you did any, Ray.
I did not.
as well. Okay. But Andrew, you did a couple. Did you feel like there were less enemies than usual?
I know that there's those, like, kill the 6, like, boss cultists before the whole, like, waves of them start. But, it's like kill 10 cultists for the daily. And you had to be during the event. And
Yeah.
it took me 3 events to kill 10, I think. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll get this in one go. No problem. And then it
I
took me
feel-
3 fucking events to kill 10 of them. It's crazy.
I feel like it's not counting them properly, right? Because I definitely killed more coming at the fire.
Felt
I
like
usually
it,
go at
yeah.
the church. I mean, you've got the church, you've got the bridge, you've got the whatever they call it down front, the waterfront. And I usually just stay at the church because it starts there, and then people run to get. They run because they like want to
Yeah.
fight the Deathclaw, or they want to get the baby moths, and that's cool. But somebody needs to defend the church,
Yep.
so I usually just stick around the church for the most part. And at the beginning, I jump all around and do all the
You
things.
get the most XP and all that just
Yeah.
sticking there. Yeah.
I definitely took out 8 or 9, and only counted as like 3 or 4 per event.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they don't all count for some reason. I'm not sure.
I was thinking because it's the daily, there are so many people racing to just like get a shot at it on one that I felt like I kept missing that, like, even though I know that I was hitting them, like I felt like it was
Maybe you didn't get last shot.
I don't know. Usually it would
And
count it anyway.
They just weren't true believers.
Exactly. These guys were doubters.
Absolutely. I mean, the dim ones, but that's who they're counting. Got a lot of priest packs in the wild. Getting a lot of these high priests running around.
I haven't seen
Gosh, I
one
had,
in the
like-
wild yet.
You haven't?
No,
Oh man,
not
I had
one.
like 3 high priests in one area. I think around Berkeley actually, when I was going to take that.
Are
I
they
was
in the
exploring
same
and fighting in Berkeley.
Are they in the same spawn points as Jingle Scorched, etc.? Or are they a different?
No, they're more random, like the
Okay.
like the mole miners.
Oh, okay.
I got a lot of them. Got a lot of packs. Trying to think if I got anything new. Nothing really exciting popped out at me this year. I don't think there are even any new items for this Mothman.
I was
Are there?
gonna say, on Fashnacht they try to introduce a new mask. Do they update the fashion or not fashion, the Mothman rewards? Or is it
You know, we
still
got
just
some-
like the elder robes and blah blah blah?
We got some new ones last year, which is why I'm thinking we didn't this year. You know, with the big bloom coming up, we've got a whole bunch of new ones for that. So I knew they're doing that. You know, I'm going to pull up my rewards checklist to see if there's anything new on here that I recognize.
What was the big bloom? Is that an upcoming event?
Yeah, that's going to be the new event coming in May
Oh, nice.
that they're adding down on the edge of Skyline Valley. Actually, if people wondering where that's going to happen, if they don't know yet, if you look at the Fallout 76 map, right on the lower right-hand corner where you've actually got the whole big old plaque there, it's right on the upper left-hand corner. I think it's called like Susan's Cabin or Susan's House or something, which made me think of West Vault Radio. It's funny, we were just talking about West Vault the other day, and we got one of our friends in chat. I started listening to it too, which is awesome. Hope you enjoy.
Go back and listen to it all.
Yeah, he was listening. He said, "Hey, I recognize that voice because it was Lee." It was great. But yeah. So anyway, a Susan's Place or Susan's Cabin is where it's going to happen, and it's coming in May, so that'll be fun. No, I don't see anything new on the reward list, but I did get a honeycomb that I hadn't had before, like honeycomb Mothman Globe, I think maybe.
Honeycomb big. Yeah.
They're not small.
No.
No.
Honeycomb's big. Yeah. It's not small. No.
And besides that, the other big game I played this week was Avowed after last week. So I got mad at myself. After I said last week, you know how you stop playing long enough, you're just not going to play. When I was kind of feeling like I got that inertia, maybe I'm not going back. And the weekend happened and I said, no, this will not stand. I've got a couple extra days off. I'm going to focus and get it done. Well, it's a long ass game. We were joking at first, and I'm like, people say it's 40 hours, probably be like 60, 70. I'm over 100 hours now, and I'm not done yet. And I played another like maybe 20 hours this week. Fourth area is great. I'm just about done with it, I think. And I'm still enjoying the game. It's fun, but I didn't quite finish it. A little bit too much 76 and nice when I got into other things. But man, hopefully it's done this weekend and I can play other things. Because South of Midnight came out this week. I want to check that out. Got a number of games in the queue I want to check out.
And that's why you never play anything.
Pardon?
I said that's why you never play anything. You have too much.
Right.
And therefore you can't play enough, if that makes sense.
No, it does. That's the whole thing about the game stack. You get that backlog happening and it builds over time. And especially when you play slow and you insist on finishing the games, I even get mad at myself because I'm like, I could do this faster, but I don't. I should play faster, but I don't. It's like Ray talking about Atomfall, that you've got well over 20, 30 hours in there in Atomfall now, right? You're still not done, are you?
No, not even close.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's saying, oh, I'm done in 20 some hours. And I could probably push it, but I don't want to, right? Who wants to?
No.
So
we get
said,
more value out of our games.
Yeah, exactly. We play them thoroughly. I am fighting for the achievements like always. I've popped some achievements this week with, I kid you not, 0.14. At like 0.14% had gotten the achievement. So there are some rare ones in there still, but I do hope people check out Avowed. I really like it. It is a very thorough RPG. I will say it might be better if it was only 60 hours because the combat gets a little repetitive as it goes on. I'm a little bit tired of fighting, but that's pretty much it for my gaming this week. And the other thing, Andrew, is sometimes when you feel like there's a game you should be playing, it almost paralyzes you and stops you from playing the other games you want to. And I think that was happening a little bit with Avowed. I'd be there ready to play and like, oh, I should play Avowed, but I wasn't in the mood. So I just watched something instead because I didn't want to play another game, start another game when I should be finishing this one. Does that happen to you sometimes?
Game guilt. It's crushing.
I know we only play so many. And Ray, you switch through mostly the same games, like, although the list keeps growing with the ones you play recently.
Yeah, and it's, I don't really have the energy. I don't have the focus to really, attack this today. So I'll watch the third season of Reacher.
Yeah, good show.
And then a couple of more days go by, and then I watch Bosch Legacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it happens.
You know how that is. There are times when you just get in that mode. I'm still going through all of Elementary. Wheel of Time came out with the third season of Wheel of Time. Highly recommend. But yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Hey, Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I did play some 76.
Did you have fun?
I played the quests. And damn it if I didn't get
I
3
was
score.
there.
Like, no.
Oh, dang it. You got more score. You
I
level up?
did. Yeah, twice.
Oh, jeez, Ray. What are you doing?
I was right on the edge to begin with. So, and these last couple of quests were XP intensive. So,
True that.
but I started off the week. So last Friday, Hypothesis released their latest Skyrim build. So I had to play around with that a little bit. And then, I've kind of been goofing around with some different Starfield stuff and came across some new mods and got totally stuck in. So I've often used this mod that gives you infinite storage, which makes life, super easy and kind of too easy. So I was looking for an alternative to that. So I found this galactic storage network, which sounded pretty cool. So you pay the ship technicians at the different ports and stuff like that for access to a storage network. And so you grow the amount of storage that you have based on, buying access. But the thing is it's like 30K a pop for 300 kilos of space. And
Well, if you can have an infinite space mod, can't you just have an infinite money mod and just be like, okay, here you go?
well, but that was kind of the point, was I always have too much storage. I always have too much money. And eventually even the fighting gets too easy. So I gave this a try. So, but then also found a mod called Cost of Spacing,
Mm-hmm.
which the mod author also has one called Real Fuel. And so I put those two together. So now I have to buy fuel to do grab jumps, and I have to pay port fees to land at like New Atlantis and all those places.
You have to pay taxes on your cargo. You got to pay weight limits. You got to pull over and do the trucker thing, like the weigh your load.
Yep. So I decided to do an all-in smuggler build. And so I also threw in, there's a mod that I've played with before called variable contraband prices. And so that gives you more for your contraband if you've taken it through a scan. So if you sell it in somewhere where you had to get scanned to land, you get paid a higher price for it. If you take it to the Den or to the Red Mile, then you get pittance. So that's been fun. I did get caught once and I had to go to jail. Fortunately, I didn't have any stolen goods on me at that point. But then I came across the mod that's a legendary module recycler. So you put a legendary, spacesuit into this machine, and it gives you the legendary modules for whatever was attached to that suit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then it gives you, what do they call it in 76? The components that you use to attach the mods.
Like a legendary core, legendary module.
Modules and cores, right?
And so you get those too. And so you can take another set of a spacesuit and add these to that. And so you go through and you collect. So you get so much junk. So you run it through this machine. Now you don't get as much money for them when they don't have legendaries on them when you sell them, but you can add them to your equipment as you see fit. So that's been pretty fun.
You can build a mega suit, right? Like a sort of has all the features you like, different legendary effects. Can you stack different legendary effects? How many slots do you
can
have?
do 3. You've got
3?
3 slots. Yeah.
Sweet.
Now, this is through Nexus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how many of them are actually available through creations, because I don't use any creations at all.
No, that makes sense. I mean, you can mix and match, but it's generally better not to, I think, on a lot of them. We got some pretty great stuff in creations, though. We got Star UI on Xbox this week.
I saw that.
Last week.
I
Yeah.
saw that. That is very nice.
Excited
Very
about
happy
that.
for everybody.
That's
also got the
funny.
big
The
Dark
Sky
Star
UI
overhaul.
for Starfield's called Star UI. That's cute.
As it should. As it should. Because what? It's Sky UI for
It's-
Skyrim.
Sky- what is
and
it for Fallout?
Fall UI for
Is it
Fallout.
just fall? Okay.
Yeah.
Sticking with
Yeah.
it. What you're describing, that sounds a bit like oh my gosh, what's the armor mod? The Mac something? Oh, I'm forgetting. Don't worry about it. There's a big creation, which I didn't know if it was available on the Nexus too, that allows you to craft your own legendaries and such. It's very popular, but
Yeah. So it's been great. I've hardly been able to upgrade my ships because I don't have enough money. So because I
It's all
play
those
with
port
the
fees.
alternate start mod, so if you use this mod, the cost of spacing for a regular game, Constellation picks up the port fees for you if you're flying in the frontier. So for somebody starting a new game, it's not going to bury them in debt, because if you go into debt, you go to jail.
Gives you the
Right.
the company gas card, basically.
Yeah, you get the company car. But I don't do that. I start off in a remote location, commandeer the first available ship.
right. You're like Constellation. Aren't they in a museum somewhere in Concord? I don't know. Who are they? Who knows?
And so, yeah, so it's definitely been slow getting things going money wise, but now my stolen art business is in full swing. And, so now I'm starting to build up a good war chest.
What? Oh, sorry.
I also run a mod that fixes the deception skill. And so if you take deception in the social skill tree, you have to pirate X number of ships. I think it's 5, 10, 15 ships in order to advance the skill.
Okay.
Well, what if you're not a pirate?
Right. Yeah. Right.
If you're not
But
a pirate, why
you
would
s-
you use that skill?
Well, because you need it to pass
Get out of
contraband
jail?
scans.
Oh, contraband. Okay.
Yeah. You
So
can deceive in other ways.
smuggling is not piracy. They're
No.
different. Okay.
So this mod changes it to you have to sell. It starts off with 10 pieces of contraband, and then goes up from there. So selling contraband actually increases the deception skill instead of pirating. So
And who's the fence in Starfield? There was a city you had to go to or something.
Well,
but
there
it's
are bunches
the
of
trade
them.
authority.
Trade authority. Okay.
If you can get past the the UC or the Freestar contraband scans when you enter into their system, then you can land on a planet and sell it to the trade authority.
Yep. Otherwise, we ended up going to the Wolf Station. We went to the station in the
Huh.
Wolf system to
Yeah,
always
the
sell
den- the
because there was no
den.
scan there. The den.
Cute.
But that said, buy local. Locally sourced contraband the way to
Buy
go.
local.
Because if you're out on Mars in some random cavern and you get some organs, harvest those organs, bring them back. You never need to get scanned. It's perfect.
What Earth year does Starfield take place in?
2330.
2330. So it's still a little bit in the future from Fallout.
Yes. Timeline
Like
wise, it would
50
be.
years, something like that?
I mean, considering, we're what, 2287.
2286, so like 40 something years, yeah.
Unless we're talking the TV show, 2296. I mean, the time keeps moving
Well,
on.
the TV
but-
show's even further in the future. I didn't realize that.
Mhm. Yeah, a few years. So we're getting there on the timeline.
So,
Yeah.
But, oh, by
any
the way,
chance that Earth is desolate because all the Fallout shit happened and Fallout and Starfield are the same universe? Are there a bunch of Fallout and Skyrim references, scenes and stuff that they've dropped? Like in Skyrim, there's like a bunch of other like movie and pop culture references. Do they put Fallout and Skyrim scenes in Starfield that you guys have found?
I mean, no, but I love it. I mean, I hate it. Okay, people who try to say it's the same world with Elder Scrolls and Fall, no.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not. But
We
I do love a good
destroyed
conspiracy
it.
theory.
Two of the extra moons happened to fall out of the sky.
It's like if you ever listen to The Black Box with Willie, whatever his name is. Have you listened to that, Ray, on the Starfield radio station?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. He has all kinds of conspiracy theories.
yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. But so yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was. But by the way, the mod I was thinking of was McLaren Outfitters, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic creation. Kingath's crew worked on it, and it lets you do legendary mod crafting if you use creations.
Yeah, so that really consumed a majority of my gaming week. I definitely put a lot of hours into working on that, and partially because I also started a parallel character to see if using the old system was way too easy, and it was way, way, way too easy. So I've just focused on the harder play. I figured it's the way to go after my level 200 character.
Yeah, I think it's just too easy for you, Ray. See, they don't have like survival mode yet, right? Is that something that no, you guys
do.
said it is now. Okay.
Yeah. There's all kinds of settings, so you can turn the difficulty way up.
Uh-huh.
You can force yourself
Food,
to
water,
have to eat and
eating,
drink, and
all that stuff. Sleep,
Yeah.
hot, cold. Well, you kind of had to do that anyway with your suit already.
Yeah, well, it also you can add to where you're more likely to have a problem with the environment,
Sleep and stuff like that,
and
probably.
catch diseases. Yeah, and you can no longer sleep for 1 hour and be completely healed.
Yeah, that'll.
So they take that away. So there's a lot of options to play with, and makes for interesting. Plus, now that they've kind of created this new gameplay control system, the modders are using it, and so instead of the regular MCM mod configurator, you can go into these gameplay settings, and down at the bottom of the list are things that the mods have added. So one of the mods I run is non-lethal combat. So there's a bunch of controls for that, and useful brigs. There's controls you can do for that as far as whether or not you have different functions enabled. If you don't want to be able to capture civilians, you can do that, or if you don't want to be able to capture pirates, if you're a pirate.
Why non-lethal combat?
Because it lets you strip people.
Oh, okay.
That's just that's the feature of that mod that I use. It also lets you disable people and handcuff them if you're playing with useful brigs. So you can handcuff them so that they don't continue to fight. So as you go through a facility, you can, disable people, handcuff them.
Is this like bounty missions or something
where
you would do that?
Well, so with useful brigs, you create your own bounty system. So basically anybody that is wanted, which is pretty much all the bad guys, anybody that'll shoot you on sight, they can be collected and turned into the guards in the city for bounty. So I'm pretty sure that's the way that Lee makes all his money.
Yeah, chat is they're pretty shocked about you stripping your captives. But Lee says the looting is Shade's immersive looting. He says.
Yeah, I don't remember it could be. It's all tied to the framework. So it's non-lethal framework is what the base mod is. That lets you handcuff people.
So it was a very heavy Starfield week for you.
Very, very heavy. Very, 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 very heavy. So much so that we because of a scheduling conflict, we didn't record a No Man's Sky show this week.
Oh.
So I played hooky from No Man's Sky and just played Starfield.
When you have the freedom to do that, I think you probably gamed more than me, and I was on vacation for part of the week.
And my wife is away visiting friends, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If the dogs weren't telling me they needed to go out, I was stuck at my computer. So I did remember to feed them.
Of course, the important stuff.
They reminded you.
And did you feed yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there was something
Penang curry duck.
I was gonna say there's something that you said you usually get when she's gone because she doesn't like it. Is that the thing?
No, I usually make paella. I didn't this time. I did a really bad job making paella the last time I did it. And
Shame on you.
Scarred.
So should you want to get back on that saddle, make up for the mistake?
I probably should, but I didn't.
He'll have to make an extra good paella next time to make up for it.
We'll just have to send the wife away again.
Of course, Ray's bad cooking is like my good cooking. So I think we'd still be impressed. Speaking of which, Ray, I got a copy of the Starfield cookbook this week.
No way.
I saw that. That is very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just skimmed it, got it Wednesday evening. I've only skimmed through it so far, but it's coming out end of the month. Getting a little preview on it. 184 pages. It's a big one.
Yeah.
And the way they're doing it seems to be recipes for mostly stuff actually in the game. So food items you get in the game, which means there's a lot of classic Earth recipes because that's a lot of the food reading is just regular Earth stuff.
Yeah.
But they do have things like alien burger and alien chunks, and of course random chunks. They've got all the Canuck stuff. I was telling Jen, we've got the Canuck poutine. We've got Canuck shepherd's pie. Got a good shepherd's pie recipe in there.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll read it over. I'll try a few and let you guys know.
Yeah, with one of those silicone, square muffin tins, you can make chunks galore.
That's perfect for chunks. Got to make your extra large chunks.
Mm-hmm.
They should have that in the game. Like chunks, they're a little on the small side. I know that's part of the allure, but I feel like I want my chunks chunky style. A little bit larger.
Chunks.
Chunks.
Chunks
Yes.
and chonks.
I would like to upsize my chunk to a chunk, please. Perfect.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, so that's about all the trouble I got into.
Alrighty. Well,
I
what's up?
I have to ask real quick though, Ray. You wrote on the list Fallout 76. Oh darn, the Roundtable is over. Did we not convert you back to 76 through this?
Not even close. And my bad. I wasn't really paying attention like I should have. If I had played the quests on Tuesday instead of Thursday, I could have canceled my Fallout First for this month.
Oh no, so you got extra Fallout First because of it. Well, that was part of my ploy with the whole season, was maybe to see, hey, Ray, check out the new stuff. Try the new stuff. But I get it. You've had enough 76. Moving on.
Yeah.
I'm glad
there
we got
wasn't
to-
anything in this that lured me back.
No, that's fair enough. I just wanted to ask. Since we're finally wrapping. Okay, Andrew, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, not a whole heck of a lot. Been playing lots of Shelter on the Xbox, but I was just bored and flipping around in the Xbox store the other day, and I saw Raft, and I wanted to try that in the past, and I just never did.
Right.
I like that sort of survival style game. So I purchased that. I haven't really played much of it, maybe like an hour, maybe two. I don't know. So it's sort of reiterating to me because I purchased the what are your Chernobyl games called? Stalker. I purchased like the Stalker games. I also got your underwater future what is that game? The Bioshock series. I got that. So play a little bit of that. It just reiterates to me that I should just really stop buying games altogether, other than the Bethesda games with the same controller, just because
That you're going to play.
if I can't, it's really only about relearning the button mapping and stuff. Like it's so frustrating to me to try to play a game that does not have that same button layout.
I mean, a lot of them you can remap, not all, and we get you to play others. I mean, you and Mo, sometimes you get into other games here and there, right?
We play lots of Nintendo together, and some silly Xbox games, like I was saying, Gang Beasts or whatever last week. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah,
there are a couple like that.
Yeah, but mainly we play Nintendo together. Lots of
But
Mario
they've
Party,
gotta be-
Mario Kart stuff.
more co-op ones you can play with other people or just fun stuff. They can't be the deeper RPG single player stuff then for you,
It's
unless
just-
they're Bethesda mapping.
I just can't learn new game styles. It's either got to be exactly a Bethesda game or like a sideways scrolling platformer type thing.
I was
Like
going to say, that's why I always recommend Game Pass too, because that way you're not investing as much money. I mean, sure, okay, it's $20 a month now, or less if you pay 3 months at a time like I do. You're only paying
Yeah.
30 or 40 every 3 months. But it's great because you can just download what you want,
yeah.
try things. It's fun.
I don't know. Mo and I have lots of fun on the retro Nintendo app on the Switch playing the old Nintendo games. I was just playing some Solomon's Key the other day.
Oh my
And
god,
he was
Solomon's
just like,
Key.
he was like, "What is this stupid game?" And then like, he's like, "Oh no, try that. No, get that one over there. No, put the block here." And then like, I hand him the controller. Like an hour later, he's like, "I'm on level 16, Dad. This is great." Yes, Solomon's Key for the win.
I haven't seen or thought about that game in years.
It is a wonderful puzzle game. It is so fun.
It is. I like that style of puzzle game too. Like a little bit platformer, a little bit.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Like Adventures of Lolo kind of had a feel like that. And a few others. Good time.
So fun. Yeah, so, we did a little retro gaming, playing some Nintendo, that sort of thing. He's pretty excited about the Switch 2 coming out. Did they have a release date on that? That's the next couple of months sometime? This summer? I forget when you said.
What are you asking about?
Switch 2? Did they have a release date for the system?
Oh.
I don't remember what you said.
Yeah, I don't actually remember the release date for it. It's June, right? But what's the exact day?
It is June? Okay. So, yeah,
June
we're
5th. So
pretty
early in
excited
June,
about that. I guess the new Mario Kart World is the new big draw. Is there probably going to be some sort of... There's always a Mario...
Yeah, well, we've got the
anchor
World
game.
Tour coming out. There's a bunch of things. There's the Zelda, the new Switch 2 editions, a number of things.
Yeah.
Yonkadonk isn't out until July, though.
We'll probably be checking that out. But anyway, I plugged in my I've got a 3DS, and so I was just playing some Mario Kart DS on that the last couple of nights before bed for a little bit. I just put in the disc, and I was like, erase all data, boom, and I was like, I'm restarting it from the beginning. And I was like, so we'll see how long that lasts. I'm gonna try to earn all the trophies again. I'm on the lowest setting. I haven't played this game in forever. I was struggling a little bit. On the slowest, I was like, oh man, this might take some practice.
You're a little out of practice at that.
I am. I used to be good at Mario Kart.
I mean, you're great at Mario Kart, but it does.
No, I'm
You learn
terrible
that so much of it is muscle memory too. You learn the layout of the tracks. Like I know I sent you and Mo a copy of Crash Team Racing like a year ago because that was my favorite kart racer in the 90s. And going back to it, like I totally remembered all the tracks and like I knew where the power-ups were, most of the secrets, all that. But the muscle memory, it took a while to come back.
Yeah, it's tough. Oh, Mo was playing the very first Mario game the other day. And I was like, go jump over that pipe. And he's like, what, Dad? You want me to go down the pipe? I'm like, no. See that brick? Go 2 steps more. And he's like, what? There's nothing there. And I'm like, I know. Watch this. Jump. And it, like a free man pops out. It like blew his mind. He's like, how'd you know that? It's like, that's fucking... I haven't played this game in 15 years. And like, I just... my brain was like, there's something there. Hit that, whatever that blank spot is.
Oral tradition, father to son, and he will pass to his children.
Exactly.
The secrets of the original Super Mario.
My grandchildren will hear stories of... And then Moses will play the original Mario with them, and they'll be like, what is this? Well,
down, down, left, right.
Yeah. BA, select, start for 2-player.
Got it.
I am, so I was pretty light on gameplay this week. I did do the quests. Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else. I was playing around with the ghoul more, trying to learn what all the different meters are. I still haven't just been able to decipher what everything does just by playing. So I think I actually have to, read a little bit about all the different meters now and
read a little, hover over it.
Krabby Claw, that sort of stuff. Go to the help portion of the menu, blah, blah, blah.
Read the tooltips.
I hate learning. Ugh.
Learning bad.
I'm playing video games, dang it. Yeah, but oh, I have to get some. I want to get the jetpack, so I have to go do the Wastelanders thing because my ghoul character hasn't done the whole Wastelanders, storyline. So you have to do that with one of the things. But since I'm a ghoul now, it's now changed, so you have to go do something else now before you have to get like some special mask. Like a human mask, I guess. You've
got to put on your disguise,
get on
right?
a human mask before they'll trust me.
It may be the thing people dislike the most about the Ghoul update. In the complaints people have, the positive, negative feelings on it.
Yeah.
Some people don't love the feral meter or various things like that, keeping up their glow, different perk cards. But the thing that annoys people the most is this disguise system where you have to go and to JVO and get a disguise put on, which ahead of time I was laughing because the disguise she puts you in, as you guys know, I mean, she dresses you up like the Scarecrow from Batman, basically. You just get a big old sack hood and a hose and ill-fitting garments. It's like the worst. She's there like, yes, I'm a wasteland stylist, and she's talking all this stuff up, and then she just throws you in a sack, which it cracked me up ahead of time. Apparently other people don't find it as funny as I did, but I still find it pretty funny. But it's annoying because when you're wearing it, there's some negative effects. You know, you get over encumbered easily, other things like that, and you have to put this on to go any of the main questline stuff on interiors. So,
right. God, that sucks.
Yeah, you don't need it in town. Like, you can go into town and do stuff, but if you want to go into the Wayward and hang out and do anything there, if you want to go talk to the Overseer, you have to. If you want to, do the quest lines for Wastelanders or for the BOS, you have to. And it's a bit much because there's no reason why you should have to wear it at the Wayward. Like, no reason. They're cool with ghouls. Like,
we're cool with ghouls.
Yeah, Duchess literally has a sign outside that says "All kinds welcome."
And
Not ghouls,
the fucking
apparently.
Mort or whatever his name is
Yeah.
drumming over there. Right? So, what does the mask actually do? Because you know what? I'm already wearing like a Fashnacht glowing unicorn mask, so if you can see through that somehow, fuck you. I don't know.
And unfortunately, that's the thing. Like, if you just cover it up, that would make sense, but no. It doesn't. I mean, with the Raiders too. Like, you need it with the Raiders. It's just the negative effects.
Why do the Raiders give a fuck?
Lame, right?
So
it's hurting you while you wear it, and so then you have to go back to JVO and take it off again. Like, you should. Okay, it's one thing having to put it on. Like Solera says in chat right now, I don't mind it. I just hate having to go back to her to take it off. And yeah, that is the worst part.
wait,
Go to her
you
to get it
can't-
on,
you
and then go back to
can't-
her to take it off.
Why can't you put it on yourself? Are you sewn into it?
Yeah, she has to dress you up. That's what's sad.
That is
like,
odd.
I don't know. Like, I could deal with the negative effects if you could at least like just leave it on all the time and like change your outfits and stuff like that. But
And-
power armor should count, right? Like, I just
Yeah. I mean, they display that perfectly in the show with, Maximus saying he was Titus, right? And you just literally be someone else.
exactly.
They have no way
But
of knowing. So I think the mask must have a voice modulator because, don't ghouls all have the raspy voice? Are there any ghouls that don't have the sort of raspy
Actually, some of the
radio vocal
ghouls
cords?
in this update by Radiant Hills, they're not as ghoulified raspy as average.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they are a little, but it is less pronounced, I think, for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, who knows? I think that's probably going to be changed as they hear enough feedback and complaints about it.
And Fallout lore question. Have ghouls been around since the beginning, right? They were in Fallout 1. Were there non-feral ghouls in those early games? There were, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what was that town? No, that whole town had ferals.
Well, but no, plenty of them weren't. So yeah, some of them
okay.
were feral side, but you could also meet and talk with some of them in Necropolis. You're thinking
Just trying to
of.
remember. Yes, Necropolis. Right.
Yep.
But there
Yep,
were
I
some
mean-
there were non-feral ghouls there too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there were
cool.
some you get along with. I mean, they were a bit rude, but
As
because
they
you had
are.
Harold in the first game and you had the ghouls throughout Necropolis. I'm trying to think if you met many elsewhere. I don't think in the first game they were.
Ferals
Random.
running all over the place.
I'll have to think about that. Yeah, it was mostly in those two locations, and then they added more and more as time went on. And then by Fallout 3, of course,
They're all over the place.
yeah, we had Underworld, we had Gob, we had a number of places.
Okay. Let's see. Gameplay for me. Other thing. Trying to remember. Did I do anything else? Nothing probably worth mentioning. I don't think so. We had a submission, a feedback from Stratoblaster. So why don't we go
Yeah.
ahead and check in with him, see what he's been going on with this week. We make feedback.
The Chronicles of Isaiah Pollux, Part 8. Intelligence and sentience are the two main ingredients of mankind that separate us from the beasts and monsters of the world. Humans are always born with the latter, as it is what truly makes us human. The other, intellect, is not nearly as common. These days, it is quite rare. My experience with Hugo Stoltz has led me to believe that he has an abundance of intelligence, and he uses it to his fullest advantage. I cannot help but think that his brilliant mind has been corrupted, twisted into that of a tyrant, someone who will stop at nothing to achieve whatever twisted goals he has set forth for himself. It's not that uncommon that those with minds similar to Hugo travel such a twisted path. All throughout history, there have been examples of men and women who have used their unbridled capabilities of logic and superior knowledge of things like science, strategy, mathematics, and medicine in ways that truly boggle the mind in their depravity and evil. In this dark time we find ourselves in now, it is probably a good thing that Hugo is a contemporary. I would hate to see how far he could have gone if the world had not been destroyed. How he would have used his brilliance in ways that are less beneficial than to anyone but himself. He is therefore caught, unable to affect anything outside his very small realm of influence, but within this hellish world he has destroyed the lives of so many. His wife, his children, his family, and the population of an entire vault owe their terrifying, wretched existences to him and his brutally cruel abuse of what could have been a globally enhancing intellect. When I look into the mirror, I see a similar intellect. I wonder to myself, if I had the resources Stoltz has, would I too fall headfirst into the corrupt and debaucherous life of a madman? I feel like I dance that razor's edge on a daily basis. I have done things I wish I could regret, but do not. Hurt people who have helped me, broken promises, and lied to advance my efforts to make contact with an entity I don't even know that exists anymore. The worst part is I can feel myself devolving, spiraling down into an abyss of dark. I don't know what to call it. I can feel my mind becoming like that of a psychopath. Everyone here, not just in the park, but in all of Appalachia, is evil. And what I want most of all isn't to contact Vault-Tec, I've realized. It's to exterminate all of them and cleanse this place of everything that has been defiled. Isaiah Pollux. Audrey's backhanded compliment aside, I was fairly certain she was pleased with my installation of the weather machine part. I hated to break it to her, but it really wasn't that hard to figure out. I probably could have built her a new one if I knew what it did. We had finished up, and were having a little talk about the machine and how it worked when Hugo rushed in, exasperated and frantic. Apparently Cassidy had gone missing, and Hugo assumed she was kidnapped. Of course she was kidnapped, you brainiac. Sometimes I really wonder about this guy. He claimed it was Alex, Audrey's old girlfriend. Now, she hadn't said as much, really, but it was pretty obvious that those two had history. She felt that Hugo had killed her and that it couldn't be her. I could tell Hugo knew differently. I had seen the note about the hitman, and from the look on Hugo's ugly mug, it appeared as though that guy failed. After what seemed like an eternity of back and forth, blah, 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 finally Hugo tasks me with hunting down this Alex person and getting his wife back. Then, out of nowhere, he changes his mind and agrees to have Alex back in the fold. So now, instead of planting her, he wants me to deliver a book as a peace offering. Sure, why not? I don't trust him, but maybe for Audrey. So I trek over to the caves, but which, by the way, is out of the storm, and the weather seems nice, but I really hate caves. Not too much trouble getting there, but a couple lost and a giant friggin' bear. Once I got there, there were 2 Mothman wackadoos outside as guards. Really? Pop, pop, no more guards. Find a relatively clean outfit, not really, and put that thing on thinking I can blend in. Worked like a charm. Met a guy named Blair who apparently saw through my disguise, but he kept quiet. If things get dicey, I hope I don't have to shoot him. Another cultist named Elder Pepper was preventing me from entering one section of the cave, so I moved on over a bridge and met a woman named Scarlet. Now this lady was not smart. She even gave me a clue to find a password that Pepper wanted to get past him and get into that part of the cave system. After a quick look around in Alex's boudoir, I found that I needed, and I gave Pepper the password and scooted on by. There were some cells off to the side, and one locked door which I was easily able to jimmy open, and inside was Cassidy. Now, she was out cold, so since she wasn't going anywhere, I trudged on looking for Alex. Deeper into the cave, I'm now counting how many stand between me and the front door. Is it 17? 18? I've got a lot of full mags and my rifle is clean. I like my chances. They crazy, though. Who knows? I find Alex, we have a conversation about Hugo and Audrey and yada yada, as they used to say. She told me about the assassin and how Hugo promised the folks in the valley a place in the vault, and then broke that vow. What a dick. He and I are going to talk about this. So I tell her about the book, and she is stunned that I even have it. I hand it to her, telling her it's a peace offering from Hugo, but when she opens it, a cloud of green poison gas spews out and kills her. Great. It was, 14? The weirdos around the fire all get up, and they're all holding weapons and pointing them at me. All right, here we go. They draw on me, and that's when things got dicey. The first ones to put down were those guys that were close by. That's 4. Then I begin to run. The alarm is up now, and everyone's shooting. 3 more down to go. That's 10 left. 2 more on the bridge. 19? I don't know. Pepper, at least put up a fight and managed to get a few shots in. He nicked me on the wrist. All right, that's like 8 left, right? I continue to run up the incline, slipping on moss and trying to stay upright. 3 more in the hallway. Done. And now I'm liking my chances. 1 on a lower pathway and 1 hiding in that alcove. Now only 2 left. They tried to hide, but in the end they just never seemed to shut up. Finally, out of that godforsaken hole, and I have just about enough of Hugo. When I get back to the vault, he and I are going to have some words. Or so I thought. Just as I'm about ready to get in his face, Audrey comes in after overhearing my accusations and rips into him. I'm a bit taken aback as her tirade heaps the blame on Hugo, the dwellers, and then on me. Great. Wearing out my welcome already, it would seem, and the only one I think I can count on at this point is Oberlin. I leave Hugo to marinate in Audrey's harsh accusations, but I think we all know that won't faze him in the least. I'll go see Oberlin and see what he thinks. Oberlin has a favor he needs from me. Of course he does, right? Now I have to go find Hilda in Shining Creek Cavern. Yay, another fucking cave. Why is this happening to me? I must have really pissed someone off in another life. Oh well, I like Hilda, so I'll go fetch her, but not for Oberlin. Once I get there, I take out a few of the creepy crawlies and enter the organic sector looking for Hilda. She isn't too hard to find, and I tell her we have to get back to the vault. She says no. Swell. She asked me to help her finish some work she's doing, and then we can go back. Fine. She tasks me with finding Henry. Some kind of dumb plant. I don't know. Sounds simple enough. And I have to take a sample back to the lab and create a serum. Okay, done. This is when things start to get sideways. The first serum I tried was on a lost dweller who was bound and unconscious. It apparently didn't work, and the damn thing attacked me. It caught me off guard, so I had to use my sidearm as my rifle wasn't readily available. According to Hilda, the serum needs a stabilizing agent. Why wasn't that part of the original plan? I don't know. So now I have to go into a more remote section of the organic sector, a section that has been locked up. Want to know why? Yeah, because of the hallucinogenic gases in the area. I was seeing and hearing things, monsters and voices, all making my task that much harder. Fortunately, as part of my military training, I was able to keep my wits about me, but I still got lost once or twice and fired off quite a few rounds shooting at nothing. After a time, I was able to collect the unusual fungi I needed and proceeded to the pharma wing and complete the stabilizing compound. I do believe there was a death claw in there, and I think it might have been real. I loaded about 3 magazines into it, and I think I killed it, but I don't know. Anyway, so make the stabilizing compound in the pharma wing, administer it to the lost dweller, and this serum also fills. Got to put him down as well. My faith in this exercise is waning at this point, but Hilda asked me to try one more thing, and I tell her, I said, this is the last time, and she agrees. Hilda directs me to the fluid control wing, whatever that is, and we will try one more time with a higher dose. There are several lost blocking the way, and they would have to be eliminated. These lost were a lot more sturdy than the ones I had previously encountered, but being a thinking man versus a crazed zombie, I was able to clear the area and try the final solution. Guess what? No dice. Hilda finally tells me that we weren't even working towards a cure, only to find a more potent way to sedate the lost for more experimentation, and that the final recipient of the final dose was actually her father. Oops. We both agreed that this lost business was incurable, and she agrees to return to the vault. When I get back, Oberlin is very happy to have her back, and he thanks me for a job well done. He goes on to let me know that he keeps very close contact with the United States Army and that one of his contacts has gone silent, and he asks me, because he trusts me, to seek him out, find out what has happened, and report back. Is it in a cave? I ask him. No, he says, it's in a lookout tower. All right, Colonel, I'm on it. I turn and walk out the door quietly, thanking the stars above that this mission is above ground. A short hike takes me to the High Knob Lookout, where Scout Smith last reported from. The place was crawling with blood eagles. I do not like Danny Boy's chances here, but I have to see what I can find out for Oberlin and the poor scout, whatever his fate may be. After clearing out the blood eagles from up top and down in the basement, I find poor Scout Smith in a cage and dead. I do a quick search for Oberlin's report, find a holotape, and the message is shocking. Oberlin's report tales that Hugo is planning to make a dangerous move soon, noting that Stoltz is looking to run tests for the weather machine. In the report, Oberlin requests backup from the military to protect Shenandoah from Hugo's plans. Daniel's holotape also reveals the reports that Chief Oberlin has been sending are not actually making it to the military, but instead are going directly to Hugo. This guy has his mitts in everything, and Oberlin needs to know about it right now. So I make a beeline for the vault. I go over in my head what I'm going to tell Oberlin, how I'm going to confront Hugo, and maybe even just put a bullet in his head. Now, Oberlin is saddened about Daniel and infuriated at the same time about how Hugo has been lying to him all along. He thanks me for my diligence, and we agree that Hugo does not need to be made aware of our inside knowledge just yet. He and I make a good team despite my original bias. We take a moment, we sit down with a whiskey, and we try to determine what our next moves are. No matter how we look at it, there are dark clouds gathering, and once again, I find myself right in the middle of the storm.
Alrighty, thank you very much, sir. Right in the middle of the storm. That's almost right in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, that was perfect. The Eye of the Storm is about where we're going to pick up next, so that's really good. But thanks for the feedback, Stratoblaster. I've really been enjoying Isaiah's story. I'm glad he was able to pick back up and join with us
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah, he ran into a bug in the first or second leg. I don't remember which when it happened, but
Yep, it was early on,
Yep.
about halfway through with the BOS.
glad
I like
glad
hearing
hopped
about
back on.
Isaiah's different relationships with these various characters. Hilda, Oberlin, Audrey. What he thinks about Hugo and stuff. I like how he, like most of us, fell for the Hugo nonsense. Wanted to give him a piece of his mind. The relationship with Oberlin, that's been cool how it's evolved.
Yeah, and I enjoy his he knows how to turn a phrase, the storytelling. It's like, the difference between intelligence and intellect and stuff like that off the top was really cute. I thought that was very, very well done.
Yeah, Isaiah's a good character. I'm really, really enjoying him, for sure, and how that works. And the fact that he took Hilda's stuff in stride, with all that nonsense. He mentions how they were a bit sturdier. Confession, because I didn't mention last week, and it came up. I actually did what was last one, Powerhouse of the Cell, and the 2 quests this week with my main character, as opposed to Hard Knock, my Roundtable character. Because I never did the last 3 quests on my character. I hadn't finished. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm here. I'm just going to do it. So I jumped in and did them on Jess, which might be why I didn't die as much as some people in Powerhouse of the Cell. And also why I maybe didn't die as much as some people fighting Hugo. But we'll get there. But yeah, I had to do the switch. Will did the switch too, by the way. So one reason Will hasn't sent in feedback the last couple weeks is he switched from his Roundtable character back to his main because he hadn't done Skyline Valley on his main character. So I wanted to do that too.
I also have not done it on my main, I don't think. No. This is my first time through, so I can't have done it before.
Yeah, Hard Knock is going to be stuck where Jess was. Dead-ended, not doing the last 3 quests. But maybe like her, he'll get there eventually. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. But it's tough. It's just something I definitely wanted to get done and get all those rewards.
Absolutely.
I want to also give a shout out to Stratoblaster because I don't know if I mentioned last week. So I think I found out over the weekend, but he got one of his camp builds in the top 5 camp YouTube showcase.
No way.
Yeah, it's a thing that's done most every week by TNG. I mean, it was originally DTD and then it became TNG who does it, and it's almost weekly. Top 5 camps, and yeah, I got one of his builds included for the first time, along with my buddy Rux is in there pretty regularly and a few others, but it was great to see his camp. Very well done, and I hope we see him in there again.
Awesome. Congratulations, man.
Yeah. That's about it. That's about all I have on that feedback.
Awesome.
I just really enjoyed the story.
Absolutely. Thanks for sending feedback, guys. Looking forward to everyone's feedback, wrapping up your adventure of next week and sort of giving us your overall thoughts of this last leg of the roundtable with the Skyline Valley, your thoughts of the new location, the new all the new locations and the new, I was going to say events, but they're not events, so just the new quest line and all that sort of stuff. So give us your overall thoughts with your feedback for next week. Looking forward to it, everybody. All right, so let's get into our...
What is it with the roundtable stuff?
Roundtable stuff, shall we? So the 2 quests we're going over are the Gathering Clouds and the Eye of the Storm. And I am not going to be good about leading this. And I don't know if this has something to do with the way I like to play video games or the way I expect Fallout games to work or something, but I felt that, I don't know why, but I felt like there was too much reading, too much of me just pumping the A button, like, let's get on with this sort of thing. Like, okay, go over here, pump A for 5 minutes, and go over here and pump A for 5 minutes. And lots of conversation and stuff that my ADD just couldn't or didn't want to absorb at the time. So I just barely grasped even the story, didn't care about the story, what was going on. I was just like, Jesus Christ, what is happening here?
Do you feel that it might have something to do with the characters, like the way they're written, or is it the fact that your character doesn't speak, and so the fact that you're not stopping, like with Soul Survivor, to see your actual voice lines?
I don't know. It might be just the mood I was in when we were playing. I don't, it could have been any bunch of things, but I did find that this last leg of the roundtable was the hardest for me to grasp onto, even though I found the material the most intriguing for some reason.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, Hugo's a really interesting character, but there is a lot of dialogue to get through.
It's like
it takes a while to get to a point.
This stuff right here is a cool sci-fi movie I would love to watch, but not a video game I want to play, if that makes sense.
Andrew prefers the BOS confirmed. That's what I'm hearing here.
I've never preferred the BOS to anything, but this would seriously make a cool sci-fi movie.
It would. It's got a neat story. So where we start back here with Hugo. So obviously, as we ended on the Hugo, because there have been kind of like two. I think another part that was a little bit difficult with this maybe is that there are kind of like 2 branching quest lines. There's what you're doing with Oberlin and things he sends you to and the others, and then what Hugo's having you do.
Yeah, the kind of overarching behind the scenes Hugo stuff.
Right, and since we're kind of breaking it up for the roundtable, like each week we're doing some for Hugo, some for Oberlin, so it gets a little bit messy, or some for Hugo, some for Hilda. Makes it a little bit harder to follow, perhaps. But so we go back to Hugo, because the last thing we had with Hugo was after, trying to save Cassidy, rescue Cassidy, and killing Alex, either intentionally or because you were forced to by the game. And we got yelled at, of course, by Audrey there, and like Stratoblast was just talking about. So you go back to talk to Hugo, and this is where you can kind of interrogate him about what really happened, what's going on behind this, why did you pull what you pulled, and how were the loss created in the first place. So there's a big old story with him, basically, and he kind of talks to you about how it all came to be, and that he actually is behind the accident. So this is where he kind of first admits to being behind what happened with the weather machine and the Lost. That he noticed when it was being used that the effects of it seemed to mitigate the effects of acting feral. because his wife was starting to turn. And we know that this was more of a problem for them here than a lot of other ghoul communities. Now, admittedly, a lot of ghoul communities kind of form over time later in the game from ghouls that have lived a long time and haven't been feral, and so they're normal ghouls. But they're all the people in tubes that we saw that where Hilda was researching, and it seems like a significant portion of the population of Vault 63 was going feral. Does that seem about right to you too, Ray? That like a little more than average?
Yeah, it was definitely a high rate, and it was his desire to keep his wife from turning
Mm-hmm.
that, made him kind of push the limits of morality
Right.
and sacrificing the many to save the one.
Yep. And so he admits with the first accident / test with the machine that he did, well, it would have been like 2195. Sorry, 2095, not 21, 2095. So about 10 years before, he says. And that's when the Lost was originally created. Now, there wasn't the whole storm and everything then. That came on the second thing when he did it again. But he talks about how he noticed the effects and how it helped him and those that were right there with the machine, but the ones further away became lost, as though he kind of referred to them as incomplete. Like they were part of this experiment, but they were incomplete. And so he tried to do the experiment again a second time. And that's when everything went really wrong. And we got the giant eye of the storm overhead and everything that happened. Now, I'm not 100% on the timeline here, but we know there were 2 attempts, one 2095, one 2105, which you can even actually verify on the terminal at the very end of the second mission we're going to talk about tonight. If you go and check, it talks about last activation times. But essentially, he says that he is using the machine to help stabilize the ghouls so they don't go feral. It's minimizing or eliminating entirely their feral characteristics and will allow them to be whole again, like it did with his wife who was near her. And of course, he himself, because he was right there at the machine. And so he's trying to kind of calibrate it to do that. That's his whole explanation. But long story short, you essentially realize, okay, no, he's kind of a madman. He did all this on purpose just because of some evidence he watched and some idea he had. But you can't do much about it. You know what I mean? You can call him out on it. You can tell him that he's a bit mad or this is mad scientist talk happening here.
Yeah, but then he just dismisses you as ignorant.
He does. Yep. And I mean, you can also go along with it. You can say, well, I get your motivations, but it doesn't seem like the wisest course of action. You know what I mean? Like you can take a couple approaches. I was a bit accusatory, but I didn't blow up at him because I was just curious where the story was going to go and I wanted to see both sides. If you call him did you call him a madman or a mad scientist, either of you? Or
yeah, I called him a mad scientist.
Yeah,
and he just called me an idiot.
I took the most antagonistic approach on every
Nice.
question available. Like
I went kind of down the middle just to play along because I'm working with Oberlin. We're going to figure this shit out, and I don't want to have a conversation with Hugo right here yet. So I kind of took the middle road. But anyway, after you talk to him for a bit, he says, and you can even tell him, Audrey's never going to forgive you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can say all these things to him. But he essentially wants you to, he says that Audrey and Hilda and Oberlin are going to work together with him to try to make this experiment reality now that he has talked it through. Okay. And they don't trust him. But in fact, when we got this conversation, I was wondering, why are they working with him? Like, what is going on? So I went down, and you can find them all together. So you're supposed to go talk to Hilda, Audrey, and Oberlin next. And they're there having an argument together down in the area near Oberlin's office. And they're essentially working out themselves. They're like, should we go along with this? Should we not go along with this? If what Hugo was saying is true, then this would be a help for people, and we can help some of our lost members. But Hilda is all for it because Hilda's been researching on the side. That's part of what she's been working on there with the research, trying to figure out what's going on. But Audrey doesn't really trust him, and Oberlin definitely doesn't. So they say what we need to do here is kind of test this theorem. We need to do a series of small tests to see if it's going to work on a smaller scale before we do the large. And they're doing this with a tissue sample from Hugo and the different waves created from the lightning harvesters.
And Hilda's motivation is partially due to her dad being held in a vat,
Right.
waiting for a cure.
Right. No, exactly. She's got the best motivation there because it's not just scientific curiosity, it's also to help save her father, which luckily he was the last one that you tested on in the previous quest, and he's still sedated and doing well. So to run the test, they're going to have you go to 3 separate research sites to activate the lightning harvester, start the waves around the area while they monitor the tissue sample and the cells inside to see if they're like how they work. If they become more agitated, less agitated, if they become more normal and stable. So first you go to a research site, Saxony is the first one, and you fight a number of super mutants, which they were bad. Actually, this is where I actually fought the most. Like it was a pretty short thing. So a wave is like maybe a minute, 45 seconds to a minute, you think? About. It was pretty quick.
Yeah. My wave was just super mutant hounds. My biggest problem was that there was a super mutant master glitched underneath the platform for the unit, and I finally managed to find a way to get behind, between the fence and the structure, and so I could get a shot at him and take him out. But until I found that gap to fall into, I couldn't even hit him.
Mm-hmm. So the usual 76 being 76.
I also had the very similar thing where I couldn't find the last guy. It's just like there's a red dot and I'm standing above him and he's like, I'm walking circles around. He had glitched underneath some platform or something. So like,
Yeah.
but like when I got up on the platform, I said, oh, there's the top of his head or something. So I like was able to hit him once I knew what it was, but I just didn't see it before. And it just took me a second to figure out what the fuck was going on.
And spawn events in 76 that they might spawn underground, they might spawn in the rocks. You never know. You're always taking a chance. And on a main quest line, hopefully it's well enough tested.
Or on the other side of the power plant.
Yeah. Thank you, exactly. The worst one I ever had, besides in the rocks confined, once when I was doing a defend event at the lakeside cabins, I had a hound, a feral dog, spawn underground. I actually, in order to finish the event, I had to do the stair base foundation trick. This is way back in the day when that was how we knew how to do it. Go underground, go around the bottom of the cabin and kill him underground to finish the event. It was beautiful. Just ridiculous. Anyway, this first test you do is where Hilda pops up, and I think it's Hilda or Archie. I get them confused, especially on the radio. But they say, yeah, so this confirms, they acted like we expected you. This kind of confirms our hypothesis. And this is a great comment from Oberlin. He says, great, this experiment says, we know what we already know. But they had to do a control experiment. Okay, so fine. They send you to the next location, which is research site Bavaria. And this one, you get attacked by turkeys. This was a pretty easy one for me. The turkeys actually kind of got stuck trying to get up to the thing. So they just got a little flock of turkeys there all together. And
if you get up on top of the building, they can't get you. They kept trying to blast me with some sonic thing, but it wasn't taking any health away. So I was like, yeah, knock yourself out.
Yeah, they didn't do much damage. And they all congregated for me.
The trick was that I used all of my grenades because there were a bunch of them that were like farther away. So instead of hopping down and trying to go get them, I just chucked grenades at them. And then my game crashed. And when I got it back, I was out of grenades and all of the turkeys had respawned. So, but I just got on the building, took them all out. It was no big deal.
Yeah. These are pretty simple defend events. Like compared to some of the fighting we had to do in, last mission or coming up in later missions, this was very, very simple defend events.
So the thing that was just absolutely cracking me up is that because I hadn't really fought any thrashers where I could see them before. And when you shoot them, their feathers come off. And so they look like a chicken ready to be dropped in a pot, completely devoid of all their feathers. It was hilarious.
Ready to eat. Yeah. I really like the thrashers. I think they're pretty great. But so after you beat these ones, this is where you hear, wait, the results seem to show on this that this isn't actually curing the virality of the cells, but rather they're kind of gravitating towards and emulating the control cell from Hugo. As in, like, whatever they did to that cell would be reflecting the other ones. However that cell was acting, they were reflecting. So as opposed to being a baseline, like normal, they were now kind of acting as though they were being controlled by the first cell. And of course, when she says that, Oberlin is like that son of a bee, and he starts yelling and stops off. He said, "I'm going to arrest Hugo right now. We're going to bring him in and find out what's going on." Because the theory is that, was he doing this on purpose? And it seems like maybe he knew that this is what would happen, that he would somehow get the power to dominate or control them. But Audrey says, it's too soon to judge. We don't know that. We need to do a third test. So Oberlin's off doing that, and you have to run into a third test because these things always come in threes in Fallout. It's just kind of the way. So you go to research site Rhineland, which Saxony, Bavaria, Rhineland, are these like German provinces or states?
Yeah,
Andrew?
they're states. Yeah.
And it makes sense that they're named that way with Hugo.
Stoltz.
Yep, kind of running the area. So you go to research site Rhineland, you activate the harvester, and you get attacked by Lost this time, doing their yelling, all the usual things. And this test confirms the previous experiment's outcome is the same, is correct. They act the same. This is definitely what's going to happen with if the lightning harvesters or the experiment is run. Oberlin comes running back, and he says he couldn't find Hugo to arrest him. Hugo's left the vault, and he's taken Cassidy with him. So they're going to go chasing after Hugo. And he also said at the same time that given the weather machine's settings, I don't know if he can monitor settings from afar. He probably can, because he says the settings of the weather machine are set up to emulate the same as the test too. So it's obvious that Hugo is going ahead of time to initiate the test on his own. And so you have to go to the Hawksbill weather station and try to stop him, and Audrey will try to meet you there. Is that pretty much it for you guys? I mean, I think that's the end of this quest, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So
So
basically, you have to go back and check in with Oberlin, is how it starts. So they were all meeting together on the last one. When you go back there, Oberlin is now back in his office like normal, and Audrey's already ran off to try to stop the experiment. So you get a briefing from Oberlin about what's going on. And this is where he tells you, yes, he's definitely gone to Hawksbill Weather Station. He has Cassidy with him. Head there directly, but keep Hugo alive if you can. So we can try to figure out if there is a way to actually use his data or his DNA or something to help save the Lost as opposed to dooming them. You guys have anything else on this section, or do you want to jump over to the Vault 63 meteorology?
Yeah, he was pretty adamant that you don't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you say, I don't know, I'll do my best, you know, he's like, no, you really, really need to not kill him.
Yeah, they wanted to strongly iterate it from him, because when you do get to Vault 63 in the meteorology sector, and you can just fast travel there. It's nice, quick and easy here.
Yeah, because we'd already been there for Audrey.
Yep. You go down in through the grid, and Audrey is actually she's right in the first area, right in the middle. And she says, good, you're here, follow me. I need you to run up to the upstairs center of the machine and stop Hugo. I will go and I will open the laser grids for you to let you through, and also try to stop the machine from my side. She also says, make sure you kill the bastard, because he's a master manipulator, and we cannot take another chance. After everything he's done, after the people he's killed, after the people he's affected, after everything he's done, if we leave him alive, that's going to just jeopardize everything. It's too big of a risk. So you can be non-committal with her. And that's the thing. With Oberlin, you can be non-committal or you can agree. With her, I don't think you can agree. Actually, can you agree to kill him? I think you can. I chose the non-committal route where I'll see what happens. But I think you can say I'll kill him.
I don't remember.
I
hadn't
believe
intended
there
on
was-
killing him, so
See, I was the same. How about you, Andrew? Did you plan on killing him?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, she has a point. He is deserving after everything. So you go through and you take the first left to get upstairs, and the laser grid is red, and Audrey, you have to basically fight off some Lost while Audrey opens it up. Another time, it takes like 30 seconds to a minute or so. No big deal. Kill a few Lost, she opens it. Next section, same thing. Kill a few Lost, she opens it. Final section, kill a few Lost, she opens it. So that gets you up into the large room up top, which Before this quest, by the way, if you went and explored, you actually could get up there. It wasn't locked off until this thing with Hugo, if you explored.
Could you get all the way up the ramps to the weather computer and everything?
I don't remember if I could get into the final room or if I feel like the last one might have been closed, but the rest of the hallway up there was open.
Cool.
Because I don't remember actually climbing up the machine. So I think maybe the last grid was locked, but the other ones were fine to get there.
Be sweet if you could just go up like early in the quest, just turn it off. Like, problem solved,
perfect.
guys. All right, quest over.
There's the part in the middle where you can get up there a little ways. But so once you get up into the control room, Hugo starts doing the villain thing, and he's holding forth. And he's like, there you are, my friend, you know? And he's still taking this whole thing that you're the one person who can work with him and understand him. But the others don't know what they're doing. They're wrong. This is the right thing. And he explains how he kind of came to the realization after his second experiment, and he saw that Cassidy and he walked together, that she was able to move and control and not be feral, but it was the control aspect. But to him, this is better than being feral, you know? And yes, he wants control and domination.
So
but
it was
he's like,
really
this is-
his healthy cells were telling her cells to be up and active, and that's why she was able to be?
It seemed to be. It
Okay.
seems to be that because he was the one actually in contact with the machine and the others weren't, that's why it was different with him.
Yeah.
But he talks about this feeling of euphoria when his wife was responsive and they ran back to the vault and in hand that she hadn't been reactive for and that this helped her. So in his mind, this is him getting his wife back. I looked in her eyes and she wasn't going feral and I saw her, whereas really he just saw himself reflected, I think. But to him, that was love. She was no longer going feral and he was going to get her back.
He really
So-
loves himself.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously he's gone a bit mad. So you can't talk him out of it, no matter what you're doing. He wants to take over, control the Lost. He says this is the right next step. And so you have to fight him. So how did the battle go for you guys?
Well, I thought the game was bugged.
Okay, what happened?
Well, just because I,
Couldn't kill him?
killed him, and then he respawned. I'm like, wait, what? What happened? So I'm like, okay, wait, maybe something's weird. So log out, log back in, get back in there, kill him, and all his health respawns. I'm like, okay, wait a second, he must just respawn his health here. Hang on. So let me go kill him all over again, right? Because
Yep.
another half fucking hour later, when I get him down, I had pulled out my plasma thrower for the final kill or whatever. Just weapons were breaking left and right. It takes so goddamn long to kill him. And so I thought, oh wait, he should have died, but he just recharged it. Maybe this plasma rifle charged him up. Like I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like my mind was going anywhere. Like, why is this happening? I don't like the game is so there was one time I logged out and logged in and went through the cycle 5 times. And I was like, what is the fuck is going on? And then I went on the internet and read he's only supposed to recharge twice for a total of 3 KOs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a known bug where he just repeatedly respawns over and fucking over and doesn't ever get to that point where you're 3 and done, Like he'll just go and go and go and go and go. And I was on one of those at one point because it was like 5 times through and I was like, what is going on? What the fuck is happening? So I was just very confused. So I had to log out for a minute, calm the fuck down, and read the internet just to learn about the bug. I was like, this is so infuriating. And then the next time I'm on, I think I've got him almost done. The third time, and the game crashes. Midway through the third round, I'm like, oh fucking god! So I was
Horrifying.
I was upset. with just
Did
the
you
pumping
get
the
it
A to
done,
get through
Angela?
the stupid story I didn't care about, and then the like not understanding the structure of the quest that I had to knock him down 3 times, and then getting on the bugged one where I had to kill him 5-6 times and it never respawned. Like I had enough. I was just like, fuck this. Ugh. No.
So you did not get it done. After all this.
I finally did, but
Okay.
I had to walk away for a minute.
I don't blame you. I mean, I thought it was bugged when he came back the first time. I just thought because I had him down to 0, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to kill him. Let me take care of the rest of these lost. Next thing I know, he's attacking me again at full health. I thought that it bugged. I didn't realize that he had 3 phases until I put him down a second time and
Yeah.
he came back yet again.
Yeah,
How about you, Ray?
Yeah, and the first time he had that Tesla rifle and was just, I mean, I couldn't get away from him.
That Tesla was rough. I popped a lot of stims. I was glad I had 30 some stims on me for this battle. I went through a lot.
Yeah, and so I went into the fight with 3,000 rounds for my laser pistol.
Yep.
And 2,000 rounds from my plasma pistol. And by the time I took him down the second time, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to finish the fight.
Wow, that's intense.
Because every time you die, you don't get any ammo back.
Yeah.
No.
But he gets all his life
and he
back.
heals up.
But he gets his entire life back.
It's like fighting Earl. Like he was definitely harder than I expected. And I'm on my real character. If I was on Hard Knock, like if I was on my Roundtable character like you guys, it probably would have been hellacious. As it is, I broke 2 pieces of armor. I broke my main gun. I had to swap guns and stuff like that. I think I ended up using a repair kit on the 3rd phase to get my good gun back. But
yeah,
it was a
fortunately,
long
both
fight.
of my guns had turned up red during the pylon fights. And so I had, repair kits to fix those up.
Fix them before, right?
So I was in good shape there. But yeah, holy smokes. I was completely relieved on the 3rd fight when he didn't have his Tesla rifle anymore. He just had the glaive. And I was like, ha ha ha, you're mine now. It's like, ah.
Right, exactly. Melee, I can handle that. But I think the other problem was I kept focusing on killing the Lost before him, like the ones that he spawned, because my goal was not to kill him. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm not just going to focus on and put him down. I'm going to get him down low, then I'm going to fight the others.
Yeah. Well, and I had a pretty good idea that no matter what I did during the fight, it wasn't going to actually kill him. So that was, I figured there was story connected to the rest of it. So I could just wail away, and there wasn't really any chance I was going to take him out inadvertently. So I never stopped. I would dump 30 rounds from my plasma and then switch to my laser and dump 30 rounds from the laser, and then 6 rounds from some red and white pistol I got from some event somewhere, and then would run away and reload. And then an extra bonus was, so I would run up to the top of the tower and jump up on the coil and hunker down up there so that he couldn't shoot me with his Tesla rifle. And so on the 3rd fight, before I realized that he had his glaive, I ran up there to get away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And he, because I was in an inaccessible location, he ran to the laser grid door and hid there. So I was able to jump down, run down the stairs, and start chucking grenades at him in that corner. So
there's always something. Some people call it cheesing the fight. I call it strategy. When you're a lower level, you've got to use the obstacles that are in the room.
Oh, yeah. I did get a level up on the final XP reward for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was level 52.
Okay, cool. That's a good place to end it then. Because you can tell that he's designed for higher level characters overall. So we're talking about this.
I had taken that option when the ghoul thing came out to pay 1,500 atoms to get to level 50.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't give a crap about the atoms. And
you had plenty?
I had plenty, and I wanted to finish out my Roundtable build. So I did that, and so it was
Oh.
it was a tough fight. I died a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't sure I was going to have enough ammo.
I died
finish.
once or twice on my regular character, and you guys obviously died more, and Andrew had the crashing. It was just a rough fight. Now, we're talking about this as the fight was inevitable. Technically, there is a third option. Technically, while he's speechifying and hello, my friend, this is what I'm doing, you can agree with Hugo to let him start the weather machine and not fight him. Now, I didn't do that. I don't know what happens if you do. If anybody in the round table does agree with him and, lets him take over, let us know, because I am curious. Like, do you have to then fight the others? Do they die? I haven't done it. I don't know.
It's that same group that always runs with, Kaisar and fucking New Vegas. That crowd.
But yeah. I mean, I think what happens is that if you take that choice, that he does get control and that the other ghouls also become lost. And so he might get control of everyone. I'm curious. But anyway, I decided to arrest him. So when you arrest him, he tries to talk you out of it, but you arrest him. Then Oberlin says, I'll take it from there. Oberlin's happy and proud of you. He says, we're going to do what we can to solve this. Audrey's mad. Audrey is swearing a lot at this point, and she does say, I effing trusted you, blah, blah, which I never told her I was going to kill him. So I didn't betray her trust. I'm sorry, woman. I never wanted to kill him. That was my opinion. Like, she wanted us to kill him, but no.
Yeah. I mean, you could have been down here with me.
Right.
And taking care of it yourself.
Yeah. And maybe she'll take the opportunity, should it present itself while he's in captivity. That's between you and your father, Audrey. Yes, we're talking about your father here. So, but I get it. So the story resolves if you do that. He's in custody, and you get a Zweihander, which is the electric kind of sword that he was using. The V63 Zweihander that he was using you can craft it yourself now. So you go back to the vault, and Oberlin's there. Oberlin's the overseer now, and he thanks you and lets you know that they're going to start working on the experiments right away. And from there, you can talk to people in the vault and stuff like that. I didn't go and talk to Audrey, so I'm not sure if Audrey's pissed or if she left or what yet. I will go back and find that out, but I didn't actually check it last night.
What kind of weapon
I had a tummy
is
ache when I
that?
finished the quest, and I logged out.
Oh, that stinks. What kind of weapon is that Zweihander?
It's basically like a two-handed sword, right? Like a Zweihander is a classic.
Two-handed. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah. I think
Couldn't
Zwei
tell.
means two, doesn't it?
Couldn't tell by that
couldn't tell
name.
Yeah, well, I couldn't tell what the heck it was, because all I saw was the picture of it.
I'm making the joke that a German two-handed is Zweihander is two-handed.
So you already knew. Knew.
I just looked at it. I was like, oh, that's a two-handed weapon. It's like, yeah. But yeah, no. It's a weird ass thing. Like, looking at it, I thought it was a gun because it kind of has a handle, but there's no trigger on it. So I'm like, wait a second, what is it?
There is a trigger.
It's like wires
it's like
or something.
And there's only a grip.
Oh, there is a
hand.
trigger. You're right.
Yeah.
On the back one, there is a trigger. Okay.
It's like an electric shish kebab. It's basically like shish
So
kebab is fire.
strange.
This is
Yeah.
electricity, so it's got a trigger to trigger that.
But yeah, go
But
ahead.
where
Ray.
do you put your second hand? On the power core?
No, they both go on the handle.
It's like
No.
one
Look at
goes to
that
the
handle.
fusion core. That's a tiny handle. That's a one-handed handle.
That's a single grip.
You grip the plasma beam, or electric beam, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it is.
You know,
Put your hand in there.
slide it up a little bit too much, and next thing you know, you got fingers missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, it is pretty small. I'm looking at it now. You're right, because there's a fusion core there you can hold on to. There's the handle grip.
Oh, it says it uses the Grognek's axe curve table for its physical damage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's see, but it probably adds electrical damage or something, I would assume.
Yeah, no, it does base physical damage and 45 electric damage.
Oh, up there. There it is. Yep, you're right. Cool.
I think it's a pretty decent weapon. I remember Alex and a few people using it right after the expansion came out.
Yeah, I
But-
used to love two-handed stuff. I haven't played two-handed in years.
Yeah. I
So
think
for
it's
you,
just
Andrew-
a nine-hander.
The nine-hander.
Did you end up killing him, Andrew, like you planned? Like once you were done with that fight for the 5th or 10th time?
Oh,
however you
yeah.
took it?
He was toast. Smoked his ass.
So how did that
After-
go? How did that change? the
After he
ending?
smoked my ass 5,000 times, I finally smoked his ass.
You were never gonna let him live for sure.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Just, I really loved the character design. The physical design with the glowing eyes and the cracks in the skin with the sort of like leaking light. Everything was really cool. But the fucking attitude on this motherfucker is just condescending and shitty. And it's like he was toast
Yeah.
from the get-go. This guy was not... The whole quest line I played with as many like asshole answers as I could, but I still feel like no matter how you answer it, it always dumps you out in the same location. Anyway, I really feel like your responses don't really have any effect. So I'm interested to see someone who sided with him, who liked him a lot, to see if there is an actual difference. You know what I mean? If your decisions do have a difference.
Yeah. And I think it really just boils down to who's the overseer.
Right. It'll be Audrey if you kill him, and Oberlin if you arrest him.
Okay.
And I
And
Probably-
Hugo
if-
if you
If you do
Help him.
nothing,
Side
if
with
you
him.
help him.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that now. Like hearing that that's a thing, I almost feel like I should have done it. Hopefully, somebody on the round table decides to work with him. But I mean, we all kind of hate how manipulative and underhanded Hugo is.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Maybe Toe. Hey Lee, maybe Toe will side with Hugo,
hey, Lee, hint.
or maybe I'll have to. Or maybe I'll have to go back on Hard Knock and actually finish the quest on 2 characters just to see.
Ooh,
Yeah.
or I can do it
Yeah.
on my main. There we
Let
go.
him make the
Boom.
bad decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee thinks he wants Oberlin as the overseer. I don't blame you.
And you know
That's
what?
pretty
If I
cool.
do it on a custom world, I could just really burn right through all the quests without having difficult battles and stuff too. To
That's
actually see
true.
the
It's
result
much-
of the
Faster on custom. Yeah, you can do it again with same character, even on custom or with your main character. But
Wait,
I would definitely like
can?
to see that if nobody does it. I'll probably go back and do it.
Yeah.
But I also want to fully explore Vault 63 post. So what changed after you did this?
Mm-hmm.
Oberlin is overseer. Can we actually talk to Hugo Stoltz in captivity? What is Audrey thinking? What's Hilda thinking? I am curious about the state of the vault, so I will explore after. Hopefully Bethesda took time to give them new dialogue, and it's not just people saying the same thing over and over again, but we'll see.
Stuff like, you're so staticky. Could you
Yeah.
put some dryer sheets in the dryer, please?
No, but I
You're
mean, you know the lines
zapping
they
me.
already say.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't think you're going to come in here and change things.
Right, exactly. I wonder
Yeah.
what'll happen if we go outside and people see we're all ghouls now. Like, the same thing over and over.
Probably nothing, because there's lots of ghouls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially now. Like when Skyline Valley released, it was just them and a few others. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, the Appalachian population is probably like 20% ghoul at this point, it feels like.
At least, yeah. I don't know. Or scorched.
I mean, a lot of people going
Ghouls
backwards.
or scorched, one of the two. So overall thoughts.
Good story. Like you said, it was more interesting than some. I do feel it was a bit complicated and also quick on the end. If it was a regular full Fallout storyline, I'd like a couple more quests in the middle to learn a little bit more about Audrey and Hilda. Because as it is, you meet Audrey with the blueprints, then you find out about Alex, then she yells at you, and then it's the ending here. Like,
Mhm.
that's all you get. And Hilda lets you in the place in the first place. Then she runs off, and you never see her again until you do the Pirates of the Cell, where you find out she is, doing organics experiments. And then it's the end of the game. Oberlin and Hugo are the two you get to know the most. But even they could have used more progression because Hugo was always sketch. We were always suspicious of him. But he didn't really go off until last quest. Like, he went off with killing Alex there on that quest. Like, obviously, you could then see where he's coming from. And then at the end, you're like, oh, he's a madman. But while we had our suspicions, I feel like there could have been more growing suspicion. So yeah, I really liked it. But I thought with the complexity of the story, it would have been better to have more time with some of the characters for other quests, or even, God, I hate to say it, but even give me a fetch quest or two with them. Make me do busy work, go do something, come back and actually have another conversation with them instead of like 4 minutes of dialogue at once. Give me a minute or two of dialogue quest, minute or two of dialogue, maybe more easily digestible that way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it was a huge, bummer for me. I mean, so my idea was that if, if I could have, convinced Alex to let me take Cassidy back,
Right.
say that I killed her, and then reunited her with Audrey.
That would have been a much better ending for them.
And it would have been the end of Hugo, because I would definitely would have killed him then.
Right. Yeah, there were multiple times I pulled a gun at a point where Hugo is confronting somebody else. I want to see, can I do anything here? Can I affect him? And I couldn't. And I'm sure we all tried at some point to be like, yeah, Hugo's not worth it, So I didn't like that part. Also, Skyline Valley, in that whole area, there's all these cool locations. There's Camp Liberty. There's the motel. There's the trading post. There are a number of facilities and locations. The story doesn't send you to any of them. It would have been nice to have some random quests, some side quests, some options where you actually have a reason to go to these locations, discover some of the story behind them. I mean, some of them have notes and terminals, but still, it would have been nice to have that all kind of wrapped into the story, I feel like.
Yeah,
So-
definitely very limited in the locations that you visit.
I know some of that is just part of playing Bethesda game you're going to explore. But like, Ray, you didn't explore a whole lot on your own in this, right? Because you weren't really into it. I can't imagine you did a lot of side exploration.
None at all.
Yeah.
I just did the quest. And a lot of it was because it was so, I mean, if you could turn the machine off and then see anything, then you might want to explore. But not
Yeah.
being able to see, I mean, everything just being black and red.
The
was
central area
so
is-
annoying.
The central area is very intense. It's nowhere near as bad on the edges. Like, if you're exploring it on the outside loop, the outer loop, it's just fine.
Yeah.
The storm looks cool in the middle, but it's not really affecting you. But yeah, in the central area, it is really hard to see, for sure.
Okay.
It's like nighttime all the time.
I was kind of hoping that the storm would go away after you turned off the computer there, but I guess if you're outside, they can't really control it for just you, so the sky has to be red for everyone who's out there down in that area of the map, right?
Well, it would be cool if they could instance it, whereas
So-
people who had completed the quest line didn't see the storm anymore. And people who...
is that possible to do in a big open part like that, where
yeah,
only
it's possible.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's possible. Because it would be your local effects. It's like when you have weather effects at your camp and you can put clear sky or Mothman weather. You can actually turn that on and off so you see it, but someone else don't. So if I have it on my camp Mothman weather, you turn off weather effects, show weather effects, you go into my camp, you won't see Mothman weather. Very
Very
So
nice.
they could at least make it so it's like the clear sky effect. Like if I go to custom server and I change it to clear sky, I now have the big red storm in the middle, but I don't have all the red haze and lightning effects around it. So it's like kind of halfway in between the two.
Were you saying that there's a clear one of those that creates
Oh,
clear
yeah.
skies? So
Yeah,
if
for
you
your camp,
build
there
if
is.
you build a camp in that zone and put that in there, were you saying that it has sort of a cross between the two effects?
It's a clear weather effect. You still get the storm in the sky, but it's sunny and you don't have the red effects all around you.
You get like a bubble of non-annoying weather. Okay,
Exactly.
awesome. I might try that.
And on the
Oh.
Feeds Wasteland custom server, if you just load into Feeds Wasteland, the whole area is clear. So you'll get it not just in a camp, you get it everywhere because I have it set to clear weather.
Oh, so it'll be clear even. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
That's
I
like
see
the
what
ash
you're
heap.
saying.
If you go to the ash heap in Feeds Wasteland right now, there's no ash storm because I have it set to clear weather. So you get some of the effects of it, but you don't actually get the weather effects.
Yeah. Have to run around mess with that. All right.
It's a fun thing to play with.
Yeah. Any
But yeah.
how about you, Ray? Did you express any final closing thoughts on the
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it was interesting, but I couldn't play the quest like I wanted to,
Right.
Mhm.
and it was the weather effect was a little over the top.
so much? And you even like really dark games. Like
Oh
you're the one who puts on the make the nights darker mods and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if it's too much for you, then good Lord, I was just blind walking around,
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, and it was worse than dark because it was
Blurry and dark.
dramatically
Dark
high
and
contrast.
smoky.
Yeah, and blurry and stormy, and it was just so loud with the thunder, and it just, and I know that not really wanting to be there didn't really make it any easier.
No, that's true.
So,
Wanting to explore is half the battle for sure. Like if you don't really want to explore, then the other effects are going to just all add up.
yeah, make it annoying, and see, I don't like it.
The outer loop really is better for caravans and stuff in Skyline Valley. Like, I mean, Andrew, I do hope you explore Skyline Valley a little bit. Some of those locations are great. Rapid and Camp, the communist camp taken over there. There are just some cool locations. The trading post is a great location. Like, there are some cool locations there for sure.
You'll love this. I forgot or, didn't realize that the place you go to turn into a ghoul and do all that stuff was called Radiation Hills. Radiant Hills. So I was looking for, I just saw that the quest, and it's for all three, it's for the Raiders, the Settlers, and the Brotherhood. It all says, this faction does not trust ghouls. You must go to visit this person at Radiant Hills to get the costume so that you can talk to them or whatever. And so I was like, oh, this must be a new location down in the Skyline Valley area. So I'm like, running.
You ghoulified.
For a couple hours, my ghoul is running around and they're like finding new locations. Looking, so I was like, well, this is odd. I think I found all the locations now, and I still don't have this. What is it called again? Radiant Hills. Well, that kind of rings a bell. I wonder what. And I scroll up to the top of my map. Oh, I already have it discovered. It's just at the very extreme other end of the map that I was looking at, and I felt like a dummy. But the story was I at least got around, discovered a few locations and stuff. So I'll keep running around there. I'll set up a camp down there now. Wait, is it possible to get all of those weather station things? No, that's the only when those are available in the Atomic Shop, right?
Yeah, some of them are available as a season reward. Some of them are from the Atomic Shop. So it varies.
Okay. And that's another thing. I need that survival tent with the card thing. The where you can swap from your different card loadouts.
Right.
There was that one tent that had the card machine. And I keep looking for it, and I keep hoping that it'll pop up again. But I've never seen that pop up again. But I want that clear weather machine thing, and yeah. So both of those items are what I'm been scouring. No, I'm going to add the clear weather, but I've been scouring for that other item for a few months now. I keep hoping they'll just put it back up. Why don't they do that, Jess? Why do they make me wait?
Yeah, I'm sorry. They'll come back. I don't know how you get each one at this point. There have been a couple, and they do rotate them in the shop, but there should be other ways to get them, you would think. I mean, I know some you can get with stamps, like the Atlantic City weather machine. You can get
what
from a
kind of
quest.
weather does Atlantic City have?
Oh, they've got the Atlantic City fog. It's kind of, it's a little bit blacker. It's got the fog effect. It's cool. I like it. Let's see. You can actually.
I will go in at least one more time before I cancel my Fallout first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can transfer any goodies back to my air quotes main character.
Main character that you'll never use.
Well, I mean, I used her for this Roundtable.
There you go.
She made all the ammo that I'm running around with.
I was kind of wondering when you said you had 3,000 of this and 5,000. I was like, wait a second. For someone who never plays with a low-level character, how do you have enough stuff or money to buy the stuff to make 5,000 rounds of ammo? was like,
You find it in a suitcase at the Pleasant Valley train
the
station.
Pleasant Valley train station because you're server hopping and dumping from main player to your side. Oh, get it now. Okay. But that did pop in my head. That was funny.
But yeah, so some of these are in bundles, and others, yeah, we got through seasons. Hopefully, they'll be available in the shop. It is one of those things where they should make them more universally available, you would think.
I mean, what is the advantage to making them not available? I mean, it creates hype when they do. It's like, oh man, the thing's available. Everyone rush and get it.
Yeah,
now.
there's some scarcity. There's the whole get it while it's hot, get it while you can. And when they're on a season reward, of course, like getting up to them on the season to earn that. But I agree, unnecessary.
Yeah. And, it's only available for Fallout First. With Fallout First, they've already got my money. It's not like they need to incentivize me to come back. They know they already have it, so.
Yeah, although I will mention again that it is possible. You guys know through the Bethesda ticketing system, it is possible to request to buy some camp objects, even when they're not in the Atomic Shop, if you have the atoms. You can fill out a ticket. You can say, I would like to buy.
That is
and you select from a checklist.
I never tried that.
So it's worked for a number of people, and there's a whole checklist you can choose from. They don't always update it, so it's a little behind. I don't know if any of the weather stations have been added, but I should investigate that too, just to see if that is an option now, because that would be good for people to know.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that wraps up the story, I think, for us. Between the two, I feel like the BOS storyline, Steel Rain and Steel Dawn, was a little bit more fleshed out. Had a little, I'm not going to say it was more linear because you did plenty of other things. You did quests and missions for them, but it was long enough that I feel like it had a complete story. Whereas this, it did, but some of it moved too quickly for me. I really feel like it should have been a little longer somehow. Well, that's kind of my final thoughts.
Longer. You made the comment about instead of 4-minute chunks of conversation. I think that was the main draw for me was the main drag was just the really drawn out exposition parts.
Hugo liked to hear himself talk.
Give me a little, show me a little, give me a little, show me a little. Don't just pound it for 10 minutes,
But that is it for Appalachia, for Skyline Valley. Maybe they'll add more to it. It's funny. There was on the Fallout 76 subreddit recently, one of the top posts this past week was, why do we keep abandoning storylines? Not to switch gears, but someone had typed, it's sad to see Bethesda abandoning quest lines once they're finished. It just feels weird to me they keep adding these intriguing factions and characters and then just kind of ditch them. It's like they mentioned Skyline Valley with Hugo Stoltz and The Lost. Are we ever going to continue that? I hear they might be, but I don't know. Brotherhood of Steel was at least done. The Overseer, she had a great story, but she's not involved in new stuff. Foundation and the Raiders, they're not really involved in new storylines much. Technically they were a little bit involved in the Brotherhood of Steel quest line, but like all these things. Now we have, say, the Responders at White Spring with expeditions. Hopefully we get another expedition, but there are all these threads there. Like you've got characters like Orlando. You've got the rooms they locked up we can't get into now. Like originally they were going to keep adding to that, and yet they seem to keep changing gears. I just thought it was kind of interesting that somebody on Reddit was posting about the same thing you were just mentioning. Like, where's it going to go from here? Will they add more? I hope they do.
Yeah, we never did get the presidential storyline.
Yeah, they pretty much dropped that. The event it was originally going to be based on was a PvP event. So when they moved the game away from PvP, that kind of killed that. And then we got a bunch of the presidential stuff 2 seasons ago, right? So yeah, I don't think they'll ever do more with that story. Poor Modus. Stuck in limbo in the Enclave. I hope really revisiting the Enclave to wrap up the story of 76. Not that I'm ready for them to wrap, but if they do, I do think that makes the most sense. Some kind of final thing that happens in Appalachia, maybe started by Modus or by an Enclave action that changes Appalachia forever, and which is why we don't know anything about it in future games. But I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. And we all die. How much longer are you expecting servers and live stuff to be supported with Fallout 76? Another couple
we can't
years?
really predict. We can't really predict, but we knew that they had a 5-year plan still. So that would end up being like 10 years total, which was kind of the original plan.
Yeah, that sounds about right, probably.
So we got a couple more years for sure, I would say.
People
Which
are
is
going to be
good.
crushed when they stop. How do you play a game like this? They should, even though they don't make it support the servers anymore, they should make it so you could download your game as it is. It'll still operate on your device, even though the servers aren't.
When and if they
active
ever close
anymore.
76, either in offline mode like that, or simply switching to server maintenance mode, where there's no new additions, but they keep the game up to play. You know?
That happens? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of MMOs do that. Some, for financial reasons, end up shutting down the servers, but there are others that kept the servers open for a long time after they stopped updating the game, and they're just kind of in maintenance forever. You know?
Neat.
It can be lonely on some of those old MMOs. So you go into an MMO that shut down like 4 or 5 years ago, you're the only person on a server, you're like, wow.
Ooh.
Hey, we kind of like that, like the old days.
Oh
First
man,
year.
I would be nostalgic for that. No dumb wastelanders running around ruining everything.
Yeah.
My
But really, I mean,
nostalgia.
how did they shut down 76 before they make Fallout 5?
They probably don't, right? They
Yeah.
probably don't. And would they even then? I mean, I don't know. So they've got a 10-year plan
Yes.
or whatever it is for the plan, but yeah, maybe their servers stay up after that.
Yeah,
They
they're
just,
passing
you know,
the torch to 5 when 76
Move along.
dies, but I think Skyrim 2 will take a lot of that
Mhm.
attention as well, you know.
Did you just say Skyrim too?
Yeah, they got to sneak Skyrim 2 in there real quick before Fallout 5 can happen, because we're getting all those games within the next 2 years, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold him down while you tickle it. Skyrim 2.
I can't wait to play Skyrim 2. It's gonna be great.
We need to get Skyrim -1 first.
It's like Skyrim 2, Elder Scrolls 6.
Beautiful. Oblivion 3. Exactly. Morrowind 4. Let's just go with the best.
Arenas. Wait, it's already Elder Scrolls.
So Oblivion 3, that'd be the day after tomorrow.
Just always the day after tomorrow, right? Like,
Well,
constantly.
tomorrow's always when the Oblivion remake's coming out.
Very soon. Tomorrow.
Yeah, I was
probably.
joking with Ray about that ahead of time, that on the Skyrimatic podcast this past week, they were getting into joking about how it's always coming out tomorrow. And everybody's been guessing and everybody's been wrong so far. The rumors have been, some people are vague and just say April, and we're still in April, but others have said last week, this week. Who knows? There's too much smoke for there not to be any fire, but damn, they're making us wait.
Yeah. Somebody needs to blow on that kindling.
But that leads us into Iguana Bits. You guys want to go there?
Let's do it.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your Iguana Bits are ready. Please come pick them up. Thank you, Jess. So I just have a couple of quick things today. Nothing on Oblivion, because there is nothing on Oblivion, you know?
Yeah. You have to wait for tomorrow.
Right. Obviously tomorrow. Okay, this is editing just bursting in because, well, Andrew couldn't post this earlier this week. He got it edited, but I'm doing the final edit and we're posting a little late. And breaking news. I should have a sound effect ready. I don't, though. It looks like Oblivion is coming out on the 21st. Hopefully there is a real announcement soon. But yes, there were 2 more leaks this week. The biggest one happened from the Virtuous website earlier this week, where people saw a number of files, screenshots, the cover, promos, all that up on the Virtuous website. Essentially, the way the site hosts work, they saw that it was running on, I believe, WordPress, got into the root, found a folder that was unlocked, labeled Oblivion Remaster, and kapow, we got some amazing looking photos, and it looks really pretty, but there was no date. However, people getting tricky because some sly dogs were asking Xbox support about release dates and times, and it's AI powered, and information has been uploaded to the store, and so it came out saying, yes, the game is coming out on all systems on the 21st, and it even said all DLC, which is a huge surprise. Previous rumors suggested Shivering Isles wouldn't be included, and the other stuff was up in the air. So we'll see about that. That's a whole new wrinkle. But either we get an announcement in the next couple days, because the cat is so out of the bag that I think the cat's the one sitting at the computer pushing buttons just randomly right now. Meow, Oblivion Remaster, meow, and leaking everything. So we'll see if they tell us or if they make it a true shadow drop. But God, I am excited. Anyway, breaking news.
Wow.
But no, there is some great ESO news. So on Thursday, currently we've been in the ESO 10-year celebrations. They're just wrapping that up with the big event, the ESO Jubilee. And that's happening all weekend. ESO is Elder Scrolls Online, for those who don't know. So yesterday they did a big direct stream talking about it. They introduced some new things. They introduced subclassing now. So for our Elder Scrolls Online players, you can now grab skills from other classes for your class. There are some rules to it. I don't think you can double up on multiple skills from different classes, but they're calling it subclassing because your main will still be dominant. But so like if you want to be a bard and a thief and a fighter and a druid, you can do that now. So anyway.
Do they have a card loadout to
No
check
cards.
thing to
No
switch
cards.
between?
That's a uniquely 76 thing for us right now. But they're also they're going to be expanding upon the main story, adding to the main story. And believe it or not, looks like they're adding more to another area. Like they're adding another area to ESO. So I don't know all the specifics. I'm not a big ESO player like some of our community is, but I just figured I'd mention that they are still doing stuff with ESO. And even though they said they were switching to a seasons model and no more yearly expansions, this looks suspiciously like a yearly expansion to me. It might not be a whole big new region, but they're still adding another area. And Will was joking in chat yesterday that it would already take you years to see all of ESO. There are people who've been playing for years who haven't been to every region because the regions are huge. They've all got their own story. It's all of Tamriel in one game. I mean, it is a big game. So, but there you go, ESO news. And maybe when the Jubilee is up in 5 days and they wrap this whole thing up, that's when we learn about Oblivion, right?
Skyrim 2 is coming out, though, I thought.
Yeah, they'll announce Skyrim 2 at the end.
How many hours have you played in ESO? Total?
Oh, gosh, I'm maybe 120.
Oh, really? That much?
Yeah, but nothing for an MMO.
Ray, did you buy ESO? Have you tried it?
No, I did it on a free weekend, something like that.
Yeah.
I think I've got a good 0.4 hours into it.
Yeah. Not for you. What was your initial thought?
It just was weird.
Is Skyrim, but is not Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fighting was just weird.
So different. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I didn't make it out of the tutorial.
Compared to some MMOs, it got a little better. Like some MMOs, for a long time, it was just click a button and things happen. Like it was so weird. You just have your row of buttons and you click on the symbol and like 3 seconds later, your character attacks, you know? But anyway, ESO, it's fun. I definitely enjoyed it, but you can only have so many MMOs, right? So many live games.
Yep. I've ducked in trying to get back into it a few times, but I never make more than an afternoon's worth of gaming before I abandon it again and go off to something else.
Mm-hmm. Also, speaking of anniversaries and such, it's not just the 11-year anniversary of ESO, but it's the 1-year anniversary of the Fallout TV show as of yesterday.
Nice. How far are we off from season 2 airing?
Probably a year, but we don't know. They haven't announced any dates yet.
Nice.
But maybe a little less. But it's funny, rumors are spinning right now. So we shouldn't even report on rumors, but let's just say that there are people saying that they are trying to up the timetable for season 3. And so they're writing, now that the show has been, that they're keeping it around, and they know they are, they're able to work ahead. Yep. So they're filming season 2 right now, but supposedly they're working on writing season 3 at the same time and kind of getting stuff so they can go into it quicker.
Good stuff.
But the initial assumption was that it would probably be out, February or March of next year. We'll see. That's the timeline, but things change. But anyway, just 1 year ago, we met Lucy and Max and the Ghoul.
Well, okie dokie.
Other cool dates coming up, which is kind of what this Iguana Bits is this week. The Xbox Showcase was announced a couple days ago. It's going to be on June 8th this year. June 8th, they're doing the Xbox Showcase. That's where we'll learn probably about anything new coming to Starfield or any big new things on 76 since they don't do roadmaps anymore. And they're going to do an Outer Worlds 2 Direct. So each year for the last couple, they have done the showcase where they go through all the new games coming to Xbox the next year or so. And then they've focused on one game. So we had Starfield 2 years ago. We had Call of Duty last year. And this year they're going to do a 30-minute direct, 30 minutes or so, on Outer Worlds 2, which I thought was neat because since Outer Worlds was a smaller game, all things considered, it did well, it was good, but not something to necessarily spend 30 minutes on for a direct at a showcase. Outer Worlds 2 is already looking bigger, and this kind of just confirms it. That, yeah, they're putting a lot on the game, and it may be the big game this fall for them, the big new game.
I know a lot of people enjoyed that first one.
We did, yeah. Ray and I both. Not a whole lot of replay value, we were saying, but we'll see how the second one does.
And it's definitely a small game. Hopefully there'll be, more that you can do with this second game.
Yeah, that was a 30-hour game that really was more like 30 hours. Like, that was an exaggeration. Maybe.
Yeah, well, more like 25 or 30.
Right, yeah, it really wasn't that long. Avowed definitely
it
larger.
went really, really quick. But it had great characters, great,
Mm-hmm.
NPCs. It's the first game that I've ever actually enjoyed a companion.
Yeah, love the companions. Which one did you like? Was it Parvati or?
Yeah, she's the best.
Gotta agree. I love Parvati too. She was a cool character. Just fun, not a dumbass.
Yeah.
A couple of the other companions were good too, for sure. Some fun NPCs in that game. So yeah, I look forward to it and learning more about it. I wonder, because we don't know anything about the story for Outer Worlds 2 yet. I wonder if we'll be playing the same character. And I wonder if any of the companions will make a comeback and reappear.
Mm-hmm. Can't imagine what you'd do.
Right? We'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, under certain circumstances, right. We'll find out where it goes. So that is it for big dates coming up. I will mention there was an update in 76 on Tuesday that just passed, and it was all fixes. We managed to finish our roundtable just in time. When they did the Ghoul update 3 weeks ago, and it broke a few things. One thing that it broke was the ending of the Brotherhood quest line with the Catalyst. A lot of people playing the Catalyst quest and fighting the Doctor ended up getting locked out. Like, they couldn't finish it. So we got through it just in time.
Wow, look at us. It's like we planned it.
Good timing. I also mentioned that people who were having their perk cards unequipped, it was due to the Rad Specialist card. That has supposedly been fixed. So if you've been avoiding Rad Specialist, you can use it again. That's one of the new ghoul perk cards, so it only counts for ghouls. The whole ghoulification bug, where if you were wearing rad-resistant clothing that couldn't be removed, or had inherent rad resistance, it would sometimes crash and you'd stay human instead of getting ghoulified. They fixed that, so they'll now strip you down and ghoulify you no matter what you're wearing going into it. And finally, daily ops were having some troubles with rotations. People were getting stuck on super mutants, and it wasn't changing. They have supposedly fixed that, although I don't know that one worked because I heard some people were still stuck on Tuesday and they weren't getting rotating on the daily ops. So hopefully that has changed in the last day or two and that is being fixed. On the calendar, we just have the Mothman Equinox going on right now. That has been, let's see, what day is it today? Is today the 12th? Yeah, it's the 12th now. We're past midnight. So the Equinox is going for a little over a week.
No. It's not tomorrow until you wake up tomorrow, Jess. We all know this
Look at
rule.
me being thoughtful. You're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you. It's still Friday the 11th. But we've got Mothman Equinox going until the 22nd, so another week and a half of that. And we've got Double XP coming up next weekend. So another chance to really get a good boost on that scoreboard for you. But that is it on the schedule
you
right
said
now.
double XP. Any double score on the calendar?
We just had double score a week ago,
That was a
so
week
it's not
ago,
coming
right?
back for a bit. Yeah. And then looking ahead, looking in May, the Big Bloom's going to start end of April. So we'll hear more about the Big Bloom as we get there. As far
Is
as
that
the
gonna be
actual
end of
event
the
goes,
season? That can't be the end of our season.
no, that's not the end of the
Okay.
season. No, that's
Okay.
going to be middle of the season.
I was gonna say that'd be a super quick season. Love picking flowers. This will be great.
Gathering and defending. There's the fun blooms in a few places in the world right now, which I hope people have found those. I mentioned them last week, but there are some nice flower blooms here and there to be found in Appalachia. And that's about it for the bits.
Speaking of flower blooms, do we still do that defend those weird corpse flower event? Does that event
Death
exist
Blossoms.
anymore?
Death Blossom
I
still
haven't
happens,
done that
yeah.
one in years, I don't think. God, it's been forever since I did that.
Funny, some events that you don't want to do pop too often. Like, nobody wants to do Dogwood Die-Off, ever. Ever.
I see it every day because my camp is right there. Oh, it sucks. I hate Dogwood Die Off.
I wish the event would die off. But then again, Death Blossoms, that's not so bad. I kind of enjoy Death Blossoms, defending the flowers from bleeping dogs.
Yeah,
a good
that
time.
was great. Well, you put your survival tent right in the middle, and you could actually see all 5 or 6 plants, whatever it is. Yeah, no, I like that one.
Yeah. There are some events that they've canceled that just haven't come back. Like, we'll never get the messenger again. R.I.P. the messenger.
Just be a nice bouquet of flowers. Those corpse flower stamens are real pungent.
Sullivan in chat mentioning distinguished guests. He wished that one would go away. I still like distinguished guests.
Oh, is that at the Bolton Greens?
Yeah, that's the one at Bolton Green.
That one's kind of annoying. No
People
offense.
don't like that one. Like,
Find
I
my
seem to see a lot of hate.
silverware. Set my table. Oh.
Ugh.
Yeah,
But-
don't forget the centerpiece.
I love that centerpiece. I haven't seen census violence in a while. I think that's still active. BattleBot, AWOL armaments, those all still happen plenty. Always Vigilant, that's the one with the iBot at various locations where the iBot is fixing things.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, RIP Mischief Night, although
Yeah,
they're saying this
seriously.
year. They're saying this year's coming at you guys.
Don't believe
tomorrow.
them. Don't believe
Tomorrow.
them. Tomorrow it's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, still yours seeing census violence.
All right. You said that wraps up our bits for the evening.
That's all the bits. There ain't no more.
Ain't no mo bits. Good juicy bits. All right, guys. I believe that wraps up all of our content that we have planned. Thanks everyone for playing along this season. Looking forward to everyone's feedback for next week. Again, send your 5-minute feedback to the falloutfeed@gmail.com, and we'll looking forward to your conclusion of these quests and just sort of a general, thoughts and feelings about the DLC or the Brotherhood stuff we did, or the whole season, whatever you want to reflect on. So, all right, do you guys have any other stuff you'd like to bring up on the show tonight?
You have any exciting culinary plans this week, Ray?
No. I have to see. My wife will be back, and so it'll depend on
What she's in the mood for?
What she's in the mood for.
Okay.
I tend to do a lot of Asian food.
Mm-hmm.
And we were heading out to dinner the other night, and she goes, "I don't care where we go as long as it's not Asian." She's had enough.
Sheesh. I mean, but they do it different. But there's so many different
I know. They're just
varieties.
There's a billion different Asian varieties in there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't want Indian. She doesn't want Thai. She doesn't want Korean. She doesn't want Vietnamese. She doesn't want Japanese. She does nothing. None of it.
Yeah. And our 3 best restaurants in our neighborhood are all Asian restaurants.
Asian. Yeah.
There's a really good Vietnamese, a really good Korean, and a really good kind of Thai, Chinese, Japanese mix.
Do you ever cook that at home?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the other things we have a lot of in this area is large Asian grocery stores.
Asian markets, right? Yeah.
And so I can get all the stuff, and
Yeah.
I love making spicy Korean pork
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
with tons of onions and jalapenos, and it's just
Sounds good to
so
me.
much gochujang.
Gochujang.
And just even all the non-dairy. You don't cook Indian very often, right? Like that. You don't do that one as much as
Too
the
much
others.
dairy
Yeah.
for you, right?
Yeah,
Because
all
they
the
use too much,
everything has yogurt.
too much
in it.
yogurt and cream and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
What? So, okay, I know you're sort of lactose intolerant, so that makes most Asian cuisine fair game because they very rarely use. Like, okay, what other cuisines in Asia use a lot of dairy besides Indian?
Most of it's just the
Like
Americanized stuff,
coconut
like,
milk.
Yeah.
And
crab-
like Thai
crab
food uses
rangoon.
coconut milk and stuff like that, right? But that's not actual dairy.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. So I stay away from the Indian.
Yeah, no paneer for you.
I, pretty much any Italian food, I'm gonna
You
need
stay
to
away
make
from?
at home.
Right.
Is that a
yeah.
tomato thing or what?
No,
No, it's all the
'cause
ricotta and stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
everything-
I see.
Everything has cheese in it. So Asian food and steak.
There you go.
Nothing
the
wrong
best.
with that.
Some of the best foods ever. Absolutely. Combine them if you can. Anyway, I'd go for Asian food with you anytime, Ray, for sure. Me this week, I'll try to make something from the Starfield cookbook. We'll see. I'll pick a recipe or two.
Oh, nice.
Some of them look complicated, but I want to give it a spin. Take a look
Yeah,
at what they've
that'll
done
be
there.
neat.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing your posts on that.
It's been so long since I played Starfield. Are there Asian dishes in Starfield? Is there like cup of noodles or whatever? And what do they have?
No, there are definitely various Asian foods, but now I'm off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of any.
I almost called him Tomagotchi. What's the name of the robot? The Power Noodles robot? It's not Tomagotchi. That's those little games. It's not Takahashi.
Takahashi, you mean?
Takahashi it is? Okay.
Yeah, Takahashi.
All right. How about you, Jess? What you cooking this weekend?
You know, I don't have any special plans.
What's the pugs begging for?
I have stuff for a good homemade mac and cheese. I'll probably throw it together.
Yum.
I'll have a good homemade mac and cheese, a couple of cheeses, get it all in the oven, bake it. Gonna be delicious. But I just got that and nothing else fancy. I might have to do groceries.
Yeah, I need to do a deep clean on the kitchen, so we'll see what's in there if I can find some ingredients to make something fun tomorrow. I haven't had Asian food in a long ass time, Ray. Maybe I'll see if I can find the cornstarch and make a little crispy pork or something. That sounds good.
Yeah. The other, when was it? I guess it was St. Patrick's Day. Instead of corned beef and cabbage, I made Dublin coddle.
What is that?
So
What is
sausage
that?
and potato stew.
Oh, yum.
Make it with Guinness.
Was that an Irish word you said? Can you say it again?
Dublin coddle.
Oh, Dublin. Coddle. Okay, coddle. Like coddlefish? All right.
Yeah, there's no fish in it. Just sausage, potatoes, and beer.
Wait,
Oh,
no.
and
really?
bacon and onions.
Bacon and onions. Tons of cream, right, Ray?
Yeah, tons.
I could probably eat that. That sounds good.
It's delicious. It cooks for a long, long time. It's about 4.5 hours, but it's worth it.
So I'm looking up. You can get dal makhani in Starfield. They've got dal makhani. They've got a galaxy lo mein you can make. I'm seeing a
Cool.
few things.
Are those
but yeah,
in
not
the
too
actual
many.
cookbook? Are you looking at the cookbook? Table
No, I'm
contents?
actually looking at
And-
I'm
and the
looking at
game-
a
the game
food
file,
list.
okay.
Looking at the game food list, but if it's in the game, so far everything I've checked has been in the cookbook. Like they've got a lot of things copied over
That's
from
amazing.
there. hmm Yeah, they have ramen. Of course, you get ramen, but like you mentioned, cup and noodle. I don't know if that really counts, but
What the- come
No,
on,
it
it's,
doesn't.
It's futuristic and space age, right? Come on, freeze dried or flash dried food.
But I mean, the food, they've got soba noodles too, actually, now that I think about it. But the food in Starfield looks so good. Like, that is the best thing about why they would have to make a cookbook on it. Yeah, okay, it's just regular food, but they add a little twist to it, add a spin. And like, every time I look at Starfield food, I just get hungry. It looks so good.
Yeah. It's so neatly packaged.
Right? You
just-
get it in a little plastic dish with like the little white and red checkered paper, like for your sandwich every time. Yeah.
Yeah. I just went through the lab in Altair for the Ground Pounders mission. And the cafeteria in there is just loaded with all kinds of, Salisbury steak and, sandwiches and all kinds of good stuff. Some, pasta dishes.
Ground Pounders. That's a great mission. I got to get back in there.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one.
Well, I believe that's all I have for this evening. So we will go ahead and say, hey, you can find Jess and all of her projects over there at Sleep is 4T on the Twitters and the Blue Sky. She also frequents our Discord. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on.
Thank you.
Ray also frequents our Discord and can be found at RayLB. Also, the BBC ISSS is the Butcher Baker Candle Maker in Space, his No Man's Sky show. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
I can be found at Indie Android. I'm starting to try to be on Blue Sky a little bit more, and I dabble occasionally over there in the Discord. I'm mainly over there in the Facebook group, though, and the show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
No.
You're mine now, sucker. Somebody needs to blow on that kindling.